aim, and mentally it's hard.
My legs started shaking.
They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is John Paul Morosi. On the new SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Joe Mauer.
Was probably the second or third concussion in a short period of time that I received. Looking back, you wish you maybe would have done things a little differently.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
The NFL Sunday Drive is your home for the 2024 regular season.
Caught for the touchdown!
This is Steve Torrey. Join me and Bill Leckus every Sunday at noon Eastern as we take you live to every game, every touchdown, and every key moment.
Bucs take the lead with 9 seconds left.
Plus, reporters from every game, fantasy updates, and guests live from the locker room.
49ers tight end George Kittle.
Catch the NFL Sunday Drive every Sunday at noon Eastern on NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin at your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
And your car can be gone tomorrow.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field. Way back. Way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. Time
on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Game 162 is here after 6 months of wins, losses, strikeouts, homers, and everything in between. The last game of the year is upon us. The Blue Jays and Marlins face off one more time to wrap up 2024. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today or at any point throughout this season. We really appreciate your listening and your support. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer, and our technical directors are Tom Young and Luke Swadron. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Cambridge and Stratford, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. 2024 comes to a close with the Blue Jays throwing a bullpen day against Ryan Weathers for the Marlins. All eyes will be on leadoff hitter Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who starts today a hit away from 200 on the year. The last first pitch is coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app at sportsnet.ca and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Baseball's postseason race heats up on MLB Network Radio.
Grand slam.
Every pitch, every swing, and every catch matters.
Good one. Good night.
MLB Network Radio brings you all the live action.
I've never seen a play like that.
And expert analysis you need to follow your team. Don't miss a moment of the chase.
I don't believe
Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and the all-new Sirius XM app. Blue Jays fans, John Schneider joins MLB Network Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
That Radio Network.
0-1. Swing and a hard liner, left center field, a base hit. Make it 199 on the season for Guerrero, who pummels that into left center for a one-out single.
Yeah, that ball was smoked.
John, he's never done it, but is batting Vladdy leadoff?
Might, yeah. I think with it being the last game of the season and trying to get 200 hits, we might do that. We've talked to him a little bit, so we'll see how it rolls out.
John Schneider said he might do it after yesterday's game, talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting leadoff. Well, he has done it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits first for the Blue Jays today in their last game of this season. Toronto trying to end the year on a positive note, and Guerrero trying to reach 200 hits. The first time a Blue Jay would have done it since Vernon Wells. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, we both get to wrap up the season and still have one more thing to play for here with Guerrero coming up to the plate.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are waiting for it the last couple of days, waiting for him to get that 200 hit mark. And I feel like it's a good opportunity to have a reason to come to the ballpark today to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit that benchmark that so few Jays have hit over the course of the franchise. And I tell you what, I'm excited to see him hit leadoff today.
Before we get into the game, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays 74 and 87, 19 back of the division, 11 back of the wild card, and the Marlins 61 and 100, 33 back of the division, and 27 back of the National League wild card. Let's take a look at both the lineups today. I already mentioned Vladdy hitting first for the Blue Jays, but Chris, who is in the lineup for the Miami Marlins, managed by acting manager Luis Ureta?
Well, leading off for the Miami Marlins is Jake Berger. He'll be DHing today. Batting second is Xavier Edwards. He'll be at shortstop. Batting third at third base is Karna Norby. In the cleanup spot is Jonah Bride. He'll be playing first base today. Batting fifth is Jesus Sanchez. He'll be in right field. In center field, batting sixth is Dane Myers. Batting seventh is Canadian Otto Lopez. He'll be at second base. Batting eighth is Griffin Conine. He'll be playing left field today. And behind the dish, batting ninth is Nick Fortes. On the mound is lefty Ryan Weathers. He'll be making his 16th start of 2024. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll be DHing today. Batting second is Jonathan Clase. He'll be in center field. At first base, batting third is Spencer Horwitz. In the cleanup spot is Ernie Clement. He'll be at shortstop. Batting fifth and playing second base is Davis Schneider. Batting sixth is Luis De Los Santos. He'll be at third base. In right field, batting seventh is Stuart Baroa. In left field, batting eighth is Joey Loperfido. And batting ninth is Tyler Heineman. He'll be catching today. Opening for the Toronto Blue Jays is Ryan Burr.
Ryan Burr, who's opened a handful of times for Toronto. This is his fourth start of the season. 33 games overall, 3.69 ERA in 31 2/3 innings for the right-hander who features a four-seam fastball and a slider. Blue Jays are warming up right now in their deep blue uniforms and white pants. The third straight day for the Marlins in their black jerseys and gray pants. As we get underway in the last game of the season, of course, we'll be talking about the season as a whole as we go through it, but we also want to hear from you. So if you're tuning in today, if you've tuned in once or 162 times this season, text in if you'd like to 590-590. Tell us your name, where you're listening from, and we'll do our best. We can't get to everyone as we learned on Canada Day, but we will do our best to try to get to everyone as possible. We really appreciate all the support that you've shown for us throughout the season. Blue Jays and Marlins just about to get underway in the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Jake Berger is going to lead off for the Marlins. Also a little bit of an unusual leadoff for Miami. This is typically a 3 or 4 hitter in the lineup in Berger. Potentially getting some extra at-bats because he sits on 29 homers coming into this game, looking to put up a first 30-homer season in his career. Or pardon me, a second 30-homer season. Berger batting from the right side, stands in. Ryan Burr kicks and delivers. And the first pitch of game 162 is a called strike, 0-1. Time of the first pitch is 3:08 Eastern, and it's a great day in downtown Toronto. Roof is open, 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. 23 degrees. There's some white puffy clouds overhead, but the blue sky still peeking through. Berger asks for time from home plate ump Gabe Morales. Now he steps back in. Ryan Burr rocks and delivers. And the 0-2 is hit on a hop through the middle of the infield and into center field, a base hit.
Well, you could tell that Ryan Burr was staying away from Berger, not giving him anything that he can drive, but Jake Berger with those big, long arms just hammered that thing up the middle. Ryan Burr not happy with that, throwing that ball back to the dugout and kind of stomping around the mound a little bit.
Wasn't a terrible pitch. Slider was off the plate outside, maybe a little bit higher than intended.
We'll return to our scheduled program.
That people will forget. When you look at, like I said, and I keep reflecting back to it, but often does it happen that you win back-to-back-to-back World Series. It doesn't happen in this game. It's a tough thing to get to it, let alone to win World Series. You know, Ricky Henderson is one of the top 5 players to ever play Major League Baseball, in my opinion. He's an Oakland native, and he played for the Oakland A's. And like I said, when you talk about ownership, Walter
into spring training and the injuries. You knew Sandy was going to be out, but then Yuri undergoing the Tommy John, and just the starting pitching rotation at times was 7 guys on the injured list. It was unsustainable. Certainly did force first-year president of baseball operations Peter Bendix's hand. Traded Luis Arraez in May, and then the fallout at the trade deadline. So many new faces, but so much to be proud of and so much to like from some of these young kids down the stretch. Again, the 3-2 is lined on a hop towards the second baseman, Schneider. It's underneath his glove into right field.
One of those situations, too, coming off your first playoff run in 20 full seasons.
Yep.
You think, okay, let's try to run it back, but when you look back of it and you reflect back, even if, let's say, guys got off to a bit of a better start, I don't think it would have been sustainable given all the injuries of the pitchers. I mean, you look at Jesus Luzardo and Braxton Garrett, 2 guys you relied heavily on in 2023. Both of them combined barely made 15 starts.
Here's Connor Norby, and a first pitch slider misses low, ball 1, and Tyler Heineman, the catcher, all over the home plate umpire. Gabe Morales early this afternoon thought that should have been a strike. Maybe he had a case. Yeah, you're right on all of that. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and Norby punches one foul. Even if they did go into the season as healthy as possible without Sandy Alcantara, and things still kind of shook out the way that we saw it play out, it was in large part going to be unsustainable. And that's the truth, and that's okay. You can't shy away from the truth. You can't shy away from hard work and doing things the right way. As the 1-1 pitch is grounded towards first base, diving to his left is Horwitz. He's got it. He'll take it to the bag. The runners will advance, but Spencer Horwitz at first base just saved a base hit and a run for Toronto. Here at the top of the first inning, the Marlins have second and third with 1 out down for Jonah Bride.
That was a really nice play by Horwitz, and as much as you seem to see guys play maybe a little quicker, I think, to put it nicely, on closing day.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of guys in there who'd really like to go out feeling good. Connor Norby being one of them. He had a nice night in game 1 of this series, collected the 3 hits, but went 0 for 5 last night. So a competitor like him, he's really looking for at least one hit to go out on 2024.
Now, the Blue Jays are not taking anything lightly here this afternoon with Ryan Burr making a spot start. How about the pitching coach, Pete Walker, who's out to have a conversation with his right-hander. Marlins threatening him in the top of the first inning, no score, but they've got second and third with one out.
With someone already warming in the bullpen.
John Schneider ain't going quietly. That's Ryan Yarborough, the lefty and former Tampa Bay Ray, who's loosening out there for Toronto. So here's Jonah Bride. And he watches the first pitch fastball at 94, high ball one.
And there have been a lot of nice surprises this season. Jonah Bride has definitely been one of them. He's riding a 7-game hit streak where he's hitting nearly 400.
1-0. He swings and lines it foul back to the screen. You've got to imagine, Kelly, the way that he's played this season and what a pickup that was in a trade for Peter Bendix. And they said when they got him, we feel like he's an analytical darling. The numbers on paper in Oakland are not adding up to what we think we have here. They nailed it, and certainly he's played himself into a role at the big league level next year. 1-1, misses outside.
And he's got a lot to be proud of. And I asked him about it. I said, what are you most proud of when you reflect back? He said, oof, that's a tough question. He said, the confidence that I belong at this level.
2-1, ground ball hit towards the middle, into center field. That's a base hit. Berger will score. Here comes Edwards, who stopped at third. A 2-run single for Jonah Bride here in the top of the first inning. 2-0 Miami on closing day.
And Jonah Bride won 2024 on an 8-game hit streak. You love to see it. We've seen him do nothing but that all season long. He's just been consistent. He's been steady. He takes one right back up the middle, and the Marlins score first yet again.
Wow. So here's Jesus Sanchez. And the first offering is a fastball that misses outside. 5 consecutive games the Marlins have scored in the top of the first inning.
And over the course of those 5 games, they have scored 11 runs in the first.
Here's Jesus Sanchez. A check swing. A fastball's a called strike. It's 1-1. Well, you keep this up in the next season, we'll be cooking with some propane then, baby. Won't have to light the charcoal. This will be an easy fix. The 1-1 is in the dirt.
Well, Jesus Sanchez, he's trying to copy his teammate Jonah Bride. He also wants to extend his 7-game hit streak to 8. And he'll also be feeling happy going into the offseason. Yeah. One has to imagine. Career highs in mostly every offensive category.
He's been great. 2-1. Missed outside ball 3. We discussed last night the things that he has to work on. In particular, his outfield defense that's been too inconsistent. But when he's playing a good outfield, boy, that also seems to transition to his offense. And he is a very, very good all-around player when he's clicking. The 3-1 now. It's over and a called strike. The count is full.
It's pretty incredible, too, Kyle. So he's now playing in his 149th game this season. So to think, playing in 149, he's got all these career highs, including games played, and that's being sit against lefties.
Here's a swing and a pop foul off to our left.
One would imagine if he's able to turn around and put in the work this offseason, find someone who throws left-handed, to just constantly toss to him day in and day out in preparation for 2025. It's really exciting to see what we can get out of him.
Again, the payoff pitch to Sanchez is swung on to dish strike 3. Got it with a fastball, and that's the first strikeout of the ball game. Brought to you by AutoNation. They'll buy your car, get an easy online appraisal, a certified cash offer, and you can even trade up to a quality one-price pre-owned vehicle. You can start now at AutoNation.com. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Marlins leading 2-0. And the batter is Dane Myers. How about his night last night? 2 for 4, a homer, and 5 RBIs.
It should have been 2 home runs.
And one of them should have been a grand slam as he watches a slider from Burr that misses low and away.
I'm not sure I have seen many home runs, doubles, I guess one would say, come so close to being home runs.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and then this is low.
And Dane Myers, he went opposite field.
Yeah.
Hit it just off the top of that right field wall. I mean, we're talking that top light-colored blue on the right-handed side. We looked at a replay. I mean, he was inches away.
2-0 misses up and away. If you start at the right field foul pole, I would say 5 feet directly to the left of the foul pole is the height of the fence. And then about 5 feet to the left of that right field foul pole, it drops down about 2 feet for about 25 feet before it goes back up to that normal height where it starts at the foul pole. He hit the cutout between the lower part of the wall and the higher part of the wall. I mean, inches away from a grand slam. He's ahead in the count, 3-0 in the pitch. Right down the middle for a called strike. We're going to get another ginormous crowd here today. They had 35,733 yesterday. As Myers watches a slider, it's a called strike, and the count is full. It was a very, very generous called strike. 3-2 the count on Dane Myers. That last slider missed by about 4 inches downstairs.
Looked like Heineman, who was chirping back there.
And the 3-2 pitch is hit on a line into center field. Clase was standing still. Now he goes back to make the head-high catch. And the inning is over, but the Marlins get a couple of runs on 3 hits. A 2-run single by Jonah Bride. 2-0 Miami after a half inning of play in Toronto on closing day on the Marlins Radio Network, driven by AutoNation.
Favorite Marlins games without all the hassle.
And he sends this one out to right center. He did it again.
The Bally Sports app brings you live games, highlights, and extra team coverage so you can focus on the more important things like rooting for your team.
For a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Pizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed.
Hey, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us for this Toronto Blue Jays game. It is almost over. This is the last series we have of the season against the Miami Marlins. Still weird saying that. They're the Florida Marlins to me. But I'm glad you guys have been here. Please hit that like button down below. And it's been a great season with you guys. Thank you all for chatting it up. Let's get back to the baseball. Let's go, Jays. Finish this season out strong. Let's sweep the Marlins or at least win a couple games. Jeez. All right, guys. Back to the chat. Go, Jays. Go.
Parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle? Beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand. Bottom of the first, 2-0 Marlins over Blue Jays, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off. First pitch of the inning is low, ball 1. Ryan Weathers starts for the Marlins, his 16th of the year, 4-6 with a 3.81 ERA. But all attention on Guerrero, who's on 199 hits on the year. The 1-0. Fastball called low, 2-0. It's the first time in Guerrero's career that he hits leadoff. Doing it today to get as many chances to hit as possible if needed. 2-0. High ball 3. And there's a buzz right now at Rogers Center. Pretty much everyone, if not every single person, knows what's on the line for Vlad. 3-0. Swing and a hard liner foul to the right. 3-1.
Yeah, I love how savvy the crowd is. The crowd knows exactly why Vlad is hitting first in this lineup. They know the big benchmark that he's trying to hit. Today, 200 hits is such a cool thing.
3-1. High ball 4. He's going to have to take a walk his first time up. His team leading 71st.
Well, it doesn't seem like he wanted that walk. Ripping off his batting gloves, tossing them back, tossing the bat back.
It's pretty funny. On a day where no one would blame him at all for being selfish in a way, he still has decided not to expand the zone. Like, he could swing at that pitch and swing and miss. It doesn't really matter. But Vlad takes the walk, and now Jonathan Clase is up. The pitch. Clase takes up and away, ball 1. Ryan Weathers, a young, long-haired left-hander acquired from San Diego a couple of years ago, or rather midway last season, a 24-year-old. Next pitch, Clase hits it on the ground foul, 1-1. For Jonathan Clase, his second start of the series. Didn't play yesterday, but was in the lineup the day before that, and went 0 for 4 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. 1-1. Clase takes a breaking ball for a strike. Mix for Weathers is a four-seam fastball, a changeup, a sweeper, and a sinker. He's a lefty starter that can go mid to high 90s, a rare commodity in Major League Baseball. He's set on the first base side. The 1-2. Sliced foul back into the seats.
Good job from Clase, just fouling off that tough fastball. Like you said, Weathers has really, really good stuff, especially for a left-handed starter. He was the 7th overall pick by the Padres in 2018.
Picked out of high school in Tennessee. Came after a season where he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Throw over to first and a dive back from Vlad.
I feel like it's pretty easy to be the National Player of the Year when you're throwing 97, 98 miles an hour as a lefty in high school.
All right, well, I'll say this. He had an ERA in his final high school season of 0.09. He allowed 1 earned run in 75 innings. Next pitch to Clase, hit on the ground to the third baseline. Long throw by Norby, and it's not in time. It's going to be an infield single for the speedy Clase, and Guerrero moves up to second. First and second for the Blue Jays. Nobody out.
Yeah, it's almost like Connor Norby shouldn't even have thrown that baseball. Just catch that baseball going out kind of in foul territory and trying to throw across the diamond, especially with Clase running. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's probably one where 85-90% of major leaguers get there anyway. Certainly Clase gets there. And now Spencer Horwitz swings at the first pitch and lines it foul off the top of the netting. 0-1.
So Weathers gave up 1 run in his final season in high school. How many innings did he throw?
75.
1 run in 75
innings.
It's almost like Emmanuel Clase.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he's in Tennessee, where the high school baseball is pretty decent.
Yeah. Was committed to go to Vanderbilt, but drafted 7th overall, so he signed with the Padres instead, and was traded to the Marlins for Garrett Cooper and Sean Reynolds at the last deadline. As the next pitch goes low, 2-1.
It's no Thornhill, Ontario baseball, but...
Hey, come on. Two balls and 1 strike. Left on left pitch. Outside ball 3. Weathers got off to a very solid start this year. Made 13 starts to begin the season to a 3.5 ERA, and then he left a June 7th start early and hit the 60-day injury list. Didn't return until September 18th. Next pitch is high, ball 4, and he struggled with command here in the first, walking a pair, giving up an infield single, and loading the bases for the Blue Jays with nobody out. That's going to prompt Mel Stottlemyre to go out to the mound, and you know what that means, Chris. More texts at 590-590 where you can reach us. Want to shout out Tony from Penticton, who turned 100 years old last week. Really appreciate you tuning in to Blue Jays broadcast throughout the year, and congratulations. That's a great milestone.
That's incredible.
Elsewhere, we have Justin, Danny, and Baby Hunter from Perry Sound, Ontario. Really appreciate you tuning in on the weekends from the home of Bobby Orr. Thank you so much. Brenda, Ed, and Lily listening from Scarborough, Ontario. Thank you so much for texting in and tuning in this year. Really appreciate it. And Jason from Riverdale, Nova Scotia. Thank you for tuning in and texting in. We'll continue to get to everybody's texts, or at least try to get to everybody's texts as the game continues. Bases are loaded, nobody out. 2-0 Marlins, bottom of the first, and Ernie Clement steps up after the mound meeting. The pitch. Swing by Clement and a flare to right center field. Going back, Lopez, the second baseman, and he makes the catch. Backhanded over the shoulder. A tougher play than it probably looked for the first out of the inning.
Well, the hardest part about that play is Otto Lopez is going back kind of into that Bermuda Triangle, and Dane Myers and Jesus Sanchez, the center fielder and the right fielder, both converging on him. And Otto Lopez seemed like he wasn't worried at all about that. Made a nice over-the-shoulder catch, throwing that baseball in, keeping Vlad at third base.
Much needed first out for Ryan Weathers, who still has a big task here of trying to strand the bases loaded. Blue Jays bring up Davis Schneider now in the first pitch. Bounces near his foot, almost hit him. 1-0. Guerrero on third, Clase on second, Horwitz on first. 2-0 Marlins, 1 out, home half of the first inning. Infield at double play depth, the pitch. Inside ball 2.
Pretty nice crowd here today on this beautiful Sunday.
Very nice, and still filing in.
I'm not going to give you my guess right now. I'll take a couple of innings.
I give you a 4th inning cutoff for that to pull back the curtain. Yesterday, almost 36,000. 2-0. Swing and a grounder foul. Final chance to see the Blue Jays. Offseason starts tomorrow. It'll be an action-packed offseason, we think. And then mid-February, pitchers and catchers head down, and it all starts again. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Schneider, and it's 2-2. Weathers pitch. Fouled back by Davis Schneider. 97 up and in. Pretty good job by Schneider to even get to that. Still 2-2.
Yeah, that is a very plus fastball right there. You could see why he was the number 7 overall pick in 2018, but a good job, just like you said, from Davis Schneider, even fouling that baseball off.
Another 2-2. Called strike 3. Borderline pitch. Might have just got the top of the zone. That's a pivotal strikeout, though, for Ryan Weathers. And now the Blue Jays in danger of stranding the bases loaded.
Yeah, with the bases loaded and 1 out, you have to at least try to foul that baseball off. It's way too close of a pitch to take in that big of a spot, especially down 2-0. You foul that pitch off and you go on to the next one.
Pitch now to Luis De Los Santos. Is swung on and hit to center field. Going back now, moving to his left, Dane Myers makes the catch and ends the inning. The Blue Jays load the bases with nobody out, but they strand him. 1 hit in the inning, no runs. It's 2-0 Marlins going to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
For the latest updates on Helene, tune to alerts from the Weather Channel. What to expect and who may be impacted.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori. When severe weather is impacting any part of the country, alerts from the Weather Channel for live simulcast of the Weather Channel for the latest information to keep you safe and informed.
Tune to alerts from the Weather Channel for the latest information on Helene.
Whenever active weather is breaking, alerts from the Weather Channel on the SiriusXM app. Just search weather.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines, midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can download the app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in for game 162. Second inning, it's 2-0 Marlins, and Ryan Yarborough is in for the Blue Jays. Lefty deals to Otto Lopez, the Canadian and former Blue Jay, takes strike one. Yarborough in after an opening inning from Ryan Burr, in which the Marlins scored 2 on 3 hits. And Ryan Yarborough seems to be having a pitch comm issue right now. He can't hear it, or maybe he wants us to go back to the text, Chris, at 590. Sonny and Gretchen from Walpole Island First Nation, thank you so much for texting in and tuning in this year. Really appreciate it. Alan in section 524, right above us. Nice. Thank you for bringing the radio call to the game. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for texting in, Alan. Justin in Barrie says Guerrero gets 200 hits on a walk-off grand slam.
I like that.
I'd be interested. Thanks for texting in, Justin. I think both of us would take that for sure. Next pitch to Otto Lopez after the technical issues are solved is lined into right field, and the Canadian has a leadoff single.
I actually mentioned that, was it yesterday or maybe the day before, when he had that little butt-out swing and it was a flare into left field that was caught. I said he doesn't want that hit. He doesn't want that to be his 200th hit. He wants a big home run.
Right.
And you said, I think he'll take anything.
I think at this point he'll take it how he gets it. Lopez leading off first. Yarborough goes left on left with Griffin Conine. And the pitch. Called strike. Griffin, the son of Jeff Conine, former Marlin, has had a big series. 3 hits yesterday, 2 hits the day before that. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Griffin Conine is built exactly like his dad. It's almost kind of scary how identical their body types are. Jeff Conine, obviously a big, muscular guy, was a really good Marlin for a long time.
2-time World Series champion with the Marlins. 1-1. Swing and a line drive right field, hanging up. Baroa makes a chest-high catch, fakes a throw to first, and sends it back in as Lopez scampers back. There's 1 out. Tonight at midnight, 10 lives will change forever when JCare draws its winners for one of the biggest jackpots in Major League Baseball history. The jackpot is approaching $1.5 million, and if you score some add-on tickets, you could also win a pair of Taylor Swift tickets or more. Head to BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from anywhere in Ontario or Nova Scotia. Nick Fortes, the catcher, steps in and takes strike one on a Ryan Yarborough fastball, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Chris LaRue, and the Blue Jays trailing the Marlins 2-0, top of the second. Yarborough's 0-1. Lopez takes off, swing and a miss. Throw down to second by Heineman, and they got him. Davis Schneider tagged him on it looked like the foot, but the throw got there in time as Lopez was sliding by Schneider, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, that throw from Tyler Heineman kind of tailed a little bit to the second base side, the first base side of second base. And Davis Schneider, as he's done so often this season with the great play, just tagging Otto Lopez kind of on the ankle, like you said. Maybe on the calf, the left calf. What a play from Davis Schneider.
Heineman, known for his work with the arm, but like you said, the really tough play there from the infielder. And for Otto Lopez, it's the 4th time he's been caught stealing this year, has swiped 20 bags. 0-2 with 2 outs now to Nick Fortes, and it bounces in front of the plate. 1-2. Fortes, a right-handed hitter, hunched over in his stance, waggles the bat above his right shoulder. 1-2 pitch is hit on the ground, up the middle, long run, backhanded by Schneider, the second baseman. Throwback to first is going to bounce in late. A tough play, and it'll be another ground ball single for the Marlins.
Just some more soft contact off of Ryan Yarborough, who has been so good for the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, quite frankly, this season.
For Yarborough, it's his 13th and final Blue Jays appearance of the year. As a Blue Jay, coming into this one, he had a .222 earned run average in almost 30 innings of work. Faces the top of the order now. The pitch to Jake Berger. Outside, ball one. Mentioned the first time up for Berger that he's looking for 30 home runs on the year, sitting on 29. Hit 34 last season. 1-0. Swing and a foul back, 1-1. And it is pretty remarkable he even has a chance to do it, because Berger entered the second half with 10 home runs. And the second half, or the unofficial second half, is shorter than the first half, and yet he's hit 19 since the All-Star game. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball gets the whiff there from Berger. It's 1-2. One ball and two strikes. Runner on first, Nick Fortes. 2 outs. The pitch. Swing and a ground ball right at Ernie Clement, the shortstop. He'll throw the short way to second. Schneider steps on the bag and ends the inning. A scoreless frame for Yarborough despite 2 hits. Gets some help from the caught stealing by Tyler Heineman, and the Blue Jays go back to the bats. 2-0 Miami, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, Blue Jays fans, are you ready to hit a home run with your next roof? Introducing GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, designed to keep your roof looking and feeling like a winner, rain or shine. GAF is proud to be the official shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Visit homedepot.ca and search GAF to learn more about how GAF Timberline HDZ roofing shingles can elevate your home to the next level. GAF, we protect what matters most.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep, because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fielded at second. Horwitz steps on the bag, throws to first. Double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, Stuart Baroa leading off for the Blue Jays, down 2-0 to the Miami Marlins. Pitch from Ryan Weathers is down and in, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Luke Swadron and Tom Young, our technical directors. 1-0 pitch, wave and a miss. And it's 1-1. '28th game of the season for the rookie Stuart Baroa. Switch hitter batting right. 1-1 pitch. Check swing, pitch down and in. Baroa drops the bat before the appeal to first. They say no swing. 2-1. Weathers kicks and releases, and Baroa hammers it to left field, hooking toward the corner. It's down and gloved by Conine. Big turn by Baroa, but he'll go back to first. Maybe one of the harder hit balls of his season so far. It's a leadoff single for Baroa.
Now batting number 9, Zoe Lupafillo.
Let's welcome our future announcer presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Grayson from Welland, Ontario, announcing Joey Loperfido up to the plate with Baroa on first and nobody out. Left on left, the pitch. Called strike.
All the way from Welland, Grayson came a long way. It's about an hour and a half. On a beautiful Sunday, last game of the season.
You get to be on the big screen. Maybe hit the home run horn. Oh, one pitch, swing and a miss. So and 2.
Do they get to hit the home run horn?
We'll have to wait and see.
It's a big
responsibility. It's a question for Tim, not to be honest. A lot of speed on first base for the Blue Jays and Stuart Baroa. 6 stolen bases in limited action this year. Big lead at first, and Weathers is going to step and throw over to first base. All over that extended lead from Baroa.
Well, I bet Stuart Baroa at least attempts to steal right here. He's kind of facing second base. You don't really see that very often, even with base stealers. Both of his feet are kind of facing towards second.
He flinches but doesn't go on the 0-2, and the pitch is outside. Check swing by Loperfido, a ball and 2 strikes. Baroa talking to Gil Kim, who's been the first base coach for the Blue Jays for the last couple days. Carlos Fablis is not on the field. Mark Budzinski has moved from first to third. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss at 96. Strike 3.
Well, that's a tough AB for Joey Loperfido.
Now batting number 55.
Once again, our future announcer, Grayson from Welland, Ontario. Tyler Heineman now up to the plate. 3rd season as a Blue Jay, is playing in his 8th Major League game of the year. Switch hitter bats right, and again a throw over to first. Baroa getting back.
Weathers is really concerned with Stuart Baroa.
Baroa has been a prolific base stealer in the minor leagues. Leaning towards second, and he stays put as the first pitch is hit down the right field line by Heineman. It's going to slice into the seats foul. Baroa was already around second. He'll turn around and head back to first, 0-1. As Baroa gets back, we can thank Brad Nelson. Texting in from Manitoba, from Neepawa, Manitoba. Thank you so much for texting in, Brad. Appreciate it. You can text us, by the way, if you're listening at 590-590. 2-0 Marlins, 1 out bottom of the second, and the next pitch to Heineman is hit to right center field. On the run, Dane Myers, and he reaches out to make a nice running catch for the second out. That brings Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up to the plate for the Blue Jays. With 2 outs in the second inning, it's the second time up for Vlad as he's searching for that 200th hit. 5 Blue Jays with 200 hits before. Vernon Wells with 215 in 03. Shannon Stewart with 202 in 2001. Those are the only ones this century. The pitch. Down and in, ball 1. You also have Paul Molitor's 211 and John Olerud's 200 in 1993. They both did it. And Tony Fernandez's 213 in 1986, which stood as the Blue Jay record for a long time before Vernon ended up passing him. 1-0. Swing and a pop-up foul. Slicing, and that's going to get out of play. Falls just into the seats behind the first base dugout, 1-1.
How about this for Vlad? 2 ABs in 2 innings.
That's why you put him up there at the top.
You might get 9 chances tonight.
John Schneider did mention today that when Guerrero gets that hit, he will come out of the game after that. 1-1. Foul back 1-2. And it's kind of twofold there. A, if he already had the 200 hits, or let's say he was at 170 or 230 or whatever, he probably wouldn't play in this game. And B, he said it'll be a nice moment if Vlad, gets a single, let's say, is at first, and then they can pinch run for him, and he and the fans can have a moment as he walks off the field. 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ryan Weathers really hasn't given him anything that he can really even get a base hit on yet in his 2 at-bats.
A lot of junk in this second at-bat. Only 1 fastball, 2 changeups and a sweeper. Just bounced the sweeper to make it 2-2. 2-0 Marlins, bottom of the second. Yarborough on first. And the 2-2 again. Just low and in. Ball 3. That's 97 and maybe a third of an inch off the plate.
That's about as good as it gets. Actually, a little smirk on Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s face. I'm wondering if he thought that was a strike as well.
So he'll face a full count now, which means Stuart Yarborough is going to break from first on the pitch. They're not holding him on. Weathers set at the belt. The lefty kicks and deals. Swing and a ground ball to short, picked up by Xavier Edwards. He crow hops and throws to first and just beats Guerrero for the out. That one wasn't so far from being an infield hit, but it'll be a ground out, and we will go to the 3rd inning. 2-0 the Marlins lead at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2meninaTruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved. Take 2meninaTruck.ca.
Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us. Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us this season. It is truly appreciated. All of you Blue Jays fans and Toronto sports fans hanging out every single day all summer long. So thank you for being in the chat. This is normally where I'm like, come on, hit the subscribe button, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has on this push to 40,000. We are almost at 40,000 here at the end of the baseball season. Absolutely crazy, the growth that we have seen. So thank you. Cheers, everyone. This one's for you. We'll see you next season. Go, Jays, go.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bo Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Xavier Edwards leading off for the Miami Marlins as we welcome you back to Rogers Center in the top of the 3rd inning. Game 162, the Marlins up 2-0, and Ryan Yarborough deals to Edwards. Switch hitter batting right, takes strike 1. This 3rd inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Cambridge and Stratford, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. The 0-1. Swing and a hard grounder picked up on a hop edge short. Ernie Clement throws it to first, and there's 1 out.
So you think if Vlad would have beaten out that slow ground ball to shortstop, he would have been okay with that?
I think so.
Okay, just checking. Just making sure.
If you weren't with us in a second, routine grounder to short, but Edwards a little bit casual over there, the guy who just grounded out to short himself. I think Vlad with his sprinting down the line showed you that he would have been okay with it. I mean, he doesn't know how many more chances he'll get. Pitch now to Connor Norby. Slow breaking ball misses outside at 70, 1-0.
Well, he's already had 2 at-bats in 2 innings, so he's on pace for 9. We've already established that.
He is.
Just kidding.
1-0. Outside, 2-0. Yarborough thinking for a moment before he steps back in, twirling the ball around in his left hand. Now he's set just in front of his stomach. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a foul ball off to the right, 2-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your team at Timbermart has the great advice and the products you need so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timbermart, Canada's building center. The 2-1. Fouled back again, 2-2. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Technical directors today are Luke Swadron and Tom Young. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Show Ali is our host. Yarborough's battled back from 2-0 to 2-2. Lefty kicks and offers, and Norby takes inside. Started to swing, but holds up. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Show's got a new show.
He does.
How about that?
Fan check down from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern.
Little plug right there.
Yeah. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got Norby on the change, and that's a strikeout for Yarborough, his first of the outing.
And how about that? Just a beautiful changeup. We've seen Ryan Yarborough just dominate this year with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's so impressive. I really hope that Ross Atkins at least tries to bring him back next season.
Yeah, he'd be an interesting piece for the Blue Jays as a potential swingman. Perhaps he starts in the bullpen. Maybe he starts in the rotation. You never know. Pitch to Jonah Bride. Called strike, 0-1.
The only thing that I worry about with Ryan Yarborough is he might be a little bit expensive for that bullpen out there.
It's fair. Bases empty. 2 outs, top of the third. And the 0-1 pitch to Bride. Down and away, and Heineman showing some frustration. Dropped his head there after that pitch was called a ball. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that's the second time that he's really showed Gabe Morales exactly how he feels. You don't really see that from catchers all that often.
The 1-1. Swing and a soft ground ball up the middle. Finds a hole into center field. A base hit. It's been that kind of series for the Marlins. Not that they haven't deserved the runs they've scored, but that one not hit very hard at all. None of really the 3 hits. Or actually, I guess the Otto Lopez hit last inning was hit pretty hard, but the other 2 hits off Yarborough so far pretty weakly struck, and yet there's a runner on here with 2 outs.
Yeah, they just seem to find holes. Like you said, yes, some of their hits have been rockets, but a lot of their hits, just like Norby's last single up the middle, have been just little seeing-eye singles, and Ryan Yarborough's last pitch was a pretty good changeup down and away.
He goes left on left now with Jesus Sanchez. 87-mile-per-hour fastball freezes the left-handed hitter. Strike 1. Crowd getting loud at Rogers Center. I think we might have an early wave going. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
What's better than an early wave?
Although I can't find it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if it is a wave.
Oh, there it is. Up top, 500 level.
Okay. It was off to the right. You got a better view of the right field stand than I do. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Ugly wave on a 73-mile-per-hour curve. 1-2.
Jesus Sanchez actually laughing after swinging at that 73-mile-an-hour curveball. We've seen a lot of opponents of Ryan Yarborough do that little smirk on their face after an early swing.
Yarborough kicks and delivers, and it's a foul tip on that same curve. Sanchez slowed the hands down a little bit to get a piece of it, and he sent it back into the backstop. Thank you, Jed and Dom from Barrie, Ontario, for texting in and listening. You can text us at 590-590. With 2 outs, the 1-2. Hit on the ground, foul to the left. Dan in Victoria, Ontario, thank you so much for texting in. Really appreciate you tuning in and reaching out to us. Same with Michael from Oakville. Really nice message. Appreciate you texting us. Thank you so much, Michael. Bride leading off first. 2-0 Marlins, top of the third. And the 1-2. Outside with the fastball. We also got a very nice message from Dave in Burlington, Ontario. Thank you so much for texting in, Dave. And Jane listening in Stony Island, Ontario.
Sounds like a nice place.
Oh, yeah. 2-2. Inside with the curve, ball 3. Yarborough trying to get back to the dugout here and send the Blue Jays back to the bats. It'll be 2-3-4 for Toronto when they hit in the bottom of the third. Bride off from first on the 3-2, and the pitch is hit foul. Sanchez really battling here. He's seen 8 pitches so far. Again, a 3-ball, 2-strike count. 2-0 Marlins. Jonah Bride on first. Top of the third inning. Payoff pitch. Fouled off once more.
Jesus Sanchez seems really frustrated. Ryan Yarborough's thrown some really good pitches. That last pitch was a changeup down and in. He's kind of shaking his head in disbelief with a big smile on his face. I mean, you just don't see pitchers like this every single day, especially in the big leagues, so it's almost unique for them to see a guy like this.
Fastball 86 to 88 really for Yarborough. 3-2 again. Swing and a pop-up back behind the plate. Foul. Heineman giving it a look, but that'll get down into the seats. And it's still a full count. We're going to go to double-digit pitches. We already got there, actually. Next pitch will be number 11 to Sanchez.
Yarborough's about to throw his 35th pitch of the ball game already.
In his second inning of work, has given up a 2-out single this frame. That's all. Big lead for Bride off first. And the 3-2. Curveball, froze him, strike 3 looking. Yarborough outlasts Sanchez, and that is how the top of the third comes to a close. No runs on a hit, 1 left. 2-0 Marlins over Blue Jays, middle of 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. Let's go, We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Yeah. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game. Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center, in a nice moment in between the top and bottom half of the inning. The Blue Jays thanking and saluting the fans as all of the Blue Jays position players and starting pitchers walked out of the dugout and onto the side warning track, and the relievers went up to the top to tip their cap and clap for the fans who have supported them all year, and the fans standing and clapping back in appreciation. 2-0 Marlins, and the first pitch from Ryan Weathers to Jonathan Clase is a called strike, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a grounder to shortstop. Picked up by Edwards. Throw over to first. Just beats the speedy Clase. 1 out.
I've said this a few times, but I always love when players acknowledge the fans, acknowledge the support, acknowledge the love. Clint Hurdle always used to tell us in Pittsburgh that when you're coming off the field, especially as a starting pitcher, because you see it a lot more as a starting pitcher, but when you're coming off the field and the fans are clapping for you, you have to acknowledge them.
First pitch to Spencer Horwitz, bounces down and away, ball 1.
And he really, really didn't like if you didn't acknowledge them. He let you have it, that's for sure.
Well, now the Blue Jays, all of their players getting a chance to acknowledge the fans as the 1-0 pitch is a called strike, 1-1. Obviously, in a lot of ways, the Blue Jay season has not gone the way that a lot of the players or the fans would have wanted it to, but great support from the fans throughout. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball over the mound up the middle. Picked up on the run by Edwards. His throw to first just beats Horwitz. 2 down. I think it's a testament to the fans and the fan base in the city that over 2.6 million people attended Blue Jays games this season, 4th out of 15 teams in the American League. And another nice crowd today as the Blue Jays play game 162. 2 outs in the bottom of the third and nobody on base. Pitch to Ernie Clement. Low ball 1.
Well, I have to say, now that the stadium has been renovated, the roof is open, it's a beautiful day, I can honestly say, and I'm not being biased at all, this is one of my favorite places to watch a baseball game.
1-0. Called strike, 1-1.
And the beautiful thing about baseball is a good game is a good game. Regardless of who's playing, regardless of the records, a good game is a good game.
Weathers with a nod, glove overhead is 1-1. Swing and a pop-up right side of the infield. Called by the second baseman, Otto Lopez. He'll make the catch to end a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 4th with the Marlins leading the Blue Jays 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is John Paul Morosi. On the new SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Joe Mauer.
Was probably the second or third concussion in a short period of time that I received. Looking back, you wish you maybe would have done things a little differently.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
A new year in the NBA is right around the corner, and NBA Radio has you covered.
Tatum muscles it up and scoring the foul.
Our experts are breaking down the entire league.
That's going to be a fun team to watch.
And bringing you inside the locker room.
It is a must-win game.
Basketball season is just weeks away, and your 24/7 home for hoops is SiriusXM NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Welcome to the 4th inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and could even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Ryan Yarborough looking in, kicks and fires to Dane Myers. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1. 2-0 Marlins, top of the 4th. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball center field. Going back, angling in now, and to his right, the center fielder Clase makes a one-handed catch. 1 down.
He's pretty casual out there, isn't he?
Clase, yeah, I mean, he looks confident out there. I think that there's probably some things to work on from what we've seen so far, but you can see the speed out there. He's going to get under pretty much any ball.
Whatever happened to catch a ball with 2 hands? Is that not a thing in the big league?
You lost that battle with Ricky Henderson in the 80s. I don't think that's one that is going on today. Otto Lopez is up and takes a strike, 0-1. Base is empty, top of the 4th and 1 out. Pitch to Lopez. Check swing, called strike, 0-2. Chris, I got to get to this text line. I'm not going to lie to you. We're in triple digits, and there's a backlog. Thank you so much, Peter and Michelle in St. Catharines, Ontario. Really nice message. Appreciate you tuning in today. 0-2. Low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robbie and Cameron listening from Highland Pacific Golf Course in Victoria, BC. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're shooting better today than I would most days. 1-2. Swing and a hard ground ball to second base, gobbled up by Schneider. Pumps and throws to first. 2 outs.
Highland Pacific Golf Course in BC sounds really, really scenic.
Victoria, BC.
Victoria, sorry. I've used the word scenic quite a bit today, but
it's a beautiful country, Chris.
All right.
From coast to coast. We flip over to the east side of the country. East Coast, I guess, more. New Brunswick, that's where Joey is texting us from. Cheering for Vladdy. Appreciate you texting us, Joey. 2 outs now, and the pitch to Griffin Conine. Swinging a ground ball to third. De Los Santos has it, throws on to first, and that's a very quick inning for Ryan Yarborough. Sets down the Marlins in order and sends us to the bottom of the 4th inning. Schneider, De Los Santos, Baroa set to hit for the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He's at the track, at the wall. He leaps, and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 4th inning, last game of the 2024 season. Marlins up on the Blue Jays 2-0. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Davis Schneider leading off for the Blue Jays in this inning. Ryan Weathers on the mound, kicks and fires, and Schneider hits it foul, 0-1. In this inning, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. While these two teams have nothing to be settled at this point, there is still a fair amount to be settled in terms of the playoff picture around Major League Baseball. 0-1 pitch is high, 1-1. You're looking at the Mets and Diamondbacks entering today tied for the final wildcard spot. 1-1. Schneider takes low, 2-1. The Braves 1 game up on both of them, and then in the American League, the Tigers a game up on the Kansas City Royals for the second wildcard spot in the AL. 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. And did you see the dramatic finish yesterday, Chris, in the Braves-Royals game?
I did.
Travis d'Arnaud.
I did.
2-2. Hit foul by Schneider. Still 2-2. Well, let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, which is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every plate. Your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. 2-2. High, ball 3.
I thought you were asking me if I saw the Alabama-Georgia game.
No. There's too much baseball right now for me to focus on that. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. On the out-of-town scoreboard, it's the San Diego Padres taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, and Arizona has a big lead. They put up a 6-run bottom of the 4th inning and taken a 6-1 lead over the Padres. Bad news, though, for the Diamondbacks is that the Mets are up 3-0 on the Brewers in the 4th, with New York still threatening. Pitch to Luis De Los Santos, outside, ball 1. Also, the Atlanta Braves on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, losing 4-1 to Kansas City. That one in the fourth in Atlanta. 1-0 pitch up and away, 2-0. So if you froze it all there and made every game go final, then tomorrow would start, and you might be asking, what do you mean tomorrow? But there's a doubleheader tomorrow, Mets-Braves. Tomorrow would start with all three teams tied for 2 final wildcard spots. 2-0 pitch to De Los Santos, called a strike, 2-1. And that's kind of what I'm rooting for, Chris. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be kind of fun.
You don't just want a quiet Monday?
No.
All right.
2-1. Inside to De Los Santos. Weathers really thought he had the zone there. Hunched over. It's ball 3. 2-0 Marlins over Blue Jays. 1 out, base is empty. Bottom of the 4th. Weathers winds and releases. Swing and a fly ball. Vaulted into the seats off to the right. Foul ball. It's 3-2. We'll get back to the text line in just a sec. 590-590 is where you can text us. Name and location, and we'll try to shout you out. 3-2. Swing and a miss by De Los Santos. Fooled by a back foot breaking ball. Strike 3.
Ryan Weathers has really good stuff. I mean, this is really his first good full season. This is his 16th start of 2024, and a guy that has so much potential. Like we talked about earlier, such a big arm from the left side. The 7th overall pick in 2018, 24 years old, finally putting it all together.
It's potential huge development for the Marlins, who get some injured starters back next year. First pitch to Stuart Burrow, the switch hitter batting right, and he takes it downstairs, ball 1. Marlins hope to have Sandy Alcantara, Jesus Luzardo, and Aori Perez all back for them next year. 1-0. Check swing by Burrow, called strike by home plate umpire Gabe Morales, 1-1. Chris, let's go out to Kelowna, where Alex, Ari, and June have texted in. Thank you for listening and texting in to us. Next pitch to Burrow, bounces. He does a little Vladdy shuffle up to the front of the batter's box. It's 2-1.
Love Kelowna. You ever been?
I don't believe so, no. You been out there?
I have. Tyson Gillies.
Canadian baseball player.
He has a house out there. Well, his parents have a house.
2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-2.
I don't want to pump his tires too much.
Thank you for texting in. Pie from Ipperwash Beach. Appreciate you sending the nice message. Thank you, Pie. Two balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch home. Called strike 3. Ryan Weathers strikes out the side, freezing Baroa on a pitch on the inside edge, and sends us to the 5th inning with Miami up 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From cozy acoustic mixes
Slang when you notice the stride.
to football tailgate anthems, back to school study beats, live sports, and more.
Deep left field, way back, it's gone. Goodbye.
Find the perfect sweater weather soundtrack to warm you up this autumn. And spice up any moment with a hand-picked audio collection on the SiriusXM app. Just search Fall. SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble, and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines, midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
If you want to win your fantasy football league, you need to listen to Fantasy Sports Radio. From lineup decisions to daily fantasy to waiver wire advice, injury updates, and so much more.
You cannot afford to drop a running back.
Our experts will help you dominate.
I think there's value there on Austin Eckler in PPR formats.
Set your lineup with Fantasy Sports Radio. Your home for fantasy football all season long. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin, your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Network.
Fifth inning at Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman next to Chris LaRue. 2-0 Miami, and Ryan Yarborough deals to Nick Fortes. It's a fastball for strike one. Fourth inning of work now for Yarborough, who came on in the second. Lefty set just above the belt. Rocks back and deals. Hits the zone again. It's 0-2.
Dylan Tate is now warming up in that Blue Jays bullpen out in left field. Ryan Yarborough at 44 pitches now in this ballgame, but 33 strikes. Pretty impressive.
Yarborough scattered 3 hits in 3 scoreless innings. Facing the bottom of the order hitter is 0-2 to Fortes. Swing and a liner to left field, hanging up. It's going to be a two-handed catch by Joey Loperfido, and there's one out. The St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, not too consequential, but the Red Sox and the Rays are playing today. They're both in a tie right now for third in the American League East, and they're both sitting a game below 500. So the winner will be 81-81 and in third. The loser below 500 and in fourth. It's 2-1 Boston at Fenway Park right now in the fifth. First pitch to Jake Berger, hit foul, 0-1.
I think that matters. I think that's something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the fans don't want to hear that, but I think in that clubhouse, in that front office, I think that matters to be 500 or better.
I think especially for Boston. They've been below 500 the last couple of years.
Right.
All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. A 1 pitch outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I remember when I was in Pittsburgh, the Pirates hadn't had a 500 season, a 500 or better season in such a long time. And at the All-Star break, I think we were like 5 or 6 games over 500.
1-1 outside, 2-1.
And we really weren't in the race, but people were losing their minds just because we were over 500.
I mean, certainly I think gives people a better feeling going into an offseason, something to build upon. 2-1. Swinging a foul off to the right, 2-2.
And then we ended up being below 500 at the end of the season.
Happens. Happens from time to time. Base is empty, 1 out top of the fifth, 2-0 Marlins. And Yarborough's 2-2 to Berger. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 outs, and we're going to go back to the text because the texts just keep climbing in terms of how many are coming in. 590 is what you can text. Stephen Carmen from Etobicoke, thank you so much for texting in. They're rooting for Vladdy and say they can't wait until the spring. Thank you so much. Frank and Shelley driving up Highway 400. Thank you so much for texting in as well. 2 down, and Xavier Edwards is about to come up to the plate. The switch hitter walks across the plate to bat right for the second time. Edwards 1 for 2. He has a hit today from the left side and a ground out from the right side. He is a better left-handed hitter. Pitch home. Takes outside, ball 1. Francis from Medicine Hat, Alberta. Thank you so much for texting in. All the way from Medicine Hat. Appreciate it. Same with Chris and Erica from Fredericton, New Brunswick. 1-0. Swing and a line drive to right field. A base hit for Edwards. He lined it off the end of the bat, and it's scooped up by Baroa. Thrown back into Davis Schneider. A 2-out single.
Can you see how many texts you have right now?
Yeah, although the number's going to if I tell you now in a minute, it's going to change to something else. I knock one down, 2 more come in, but we'll go to 1 more as John Schneider walks out to the mound to take the ball from Ryan Yarborough. Thank you, Matt and Kelly from Glamour Lake. Appreciate you texting in. Ryan Yarborough high-fiving teammates as he walks off the mound for the last time this season. Fans are giving him an applause. A nice 3 2/3 from Yarborough, and Dylan Tate coming out of the Blue Jay bullpen to try and end the inning. With that, for the first time today, we go over to our host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have the final edition of Jays Talk of the season. It'll be Jeff Blair and Kevin Parker. The guys are here at the Dome. I saw Blair earlier. They'll take your phone calls. They will take your texts, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. We've heard a lot of baseball scores from Ben. Let's check in on Week 4 of the NFL. Right now, just 3 games on the go. One early game just about to wrap up. The Vikings leading the Packers 31-22. The Packers do have the ball in their own 20-yard line. About 2 minutes to go in that game. Patriots at 49ers. That game is showing zeros in the first quarter. Commanders at Cardinals. That game is tied at 7 in the first quarter. All the other early games are done. The Colts beat the Steelers 27-24. Anthony Richardson was knocked out of this game early with an injury. They were calling it a hip injury. He did not re-enter the game. Backup Joe Flacco entered the game, and he directed the offense pretty well. The Steelers made it close late, but the Colts hung on for a 27-24 win. The Texans were trailing for much of this game against the Jaguars, but C.J. Stroud throwing a touchdown to running back Dare Ogunbowale with seconds to go. Texans grab a 24-20 win. The Falcons and Saints had a number of lead changes in Atlanta, but the Falcons getting a 58-yard field goal from Younghoe Koo with 2 seconds to go. They win that game 26-24. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you, Show. The right-hander Dylan Tate is in the game, working with a runner on first, 2 outs, and a throw over to first. Spencer Horwitz receives it and tosses it back as Tate was checking on the speedy base runner Xavier Edwards. 2-0 Marlins in the top of the 5th. Pair of former Orioles facing off as Tate duels with Connor Norby. Right-hander kicks the left leg and fires, and Norby hits it foul off to the right. 0-1. Dylan Tate, one of, if not the most cachet of all the guys that the Blue Jays brought over in this waiver period that they had near the end of the year, making his 4th appearance as a Blue Jay. Next pitch, cut on and missed. 0-2. Tate with almost 200 major league games under his belt. This is career game 190 for the right-hander. Ahead 0-2. His pitch to Norby. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the breaking ball, and it's a quick 3-pitch strikeout by Tate to end the frame. No runs for the Marlins, 1 walk and 1 left. Or pardon me, 1 hit and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th, where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is due up 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
In a season already plagued with injuries and underachievers, your fantasy football team is faced with yet another obstacle.
The bye weeks are coming! The bye weeks are coming!
When your star player takes a week off, listen to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio for winning fantasy football advice.
You gotta work the waiver wire, you gotta make trades. The draft is just a piece of the puzzle.
Our experts tell you who to play in this time of need.
Now the work really starts.
Your frontline source for fantasy football, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
Starting September 30th, SiriusXM is giving away a pair of tickets to every MLB postseason game through the World Series. Listen to MLB Network Radio for the clues and be the first caller to correctly name the postseason hero, and you'll receive a pair of tickets to an MLB postseason game. MLB Network Radio has your chance to win on SiriusXM 89 and the all-new SiriusXM app. No transportation will be included in connection with these prizes. For full contest information and official rules, visit SiriusXM.com/MLB postseason heroes. No purchase necessary. Open only to current SiriusXM subscribers prior to September 22nd. Must be a U.S. resident over the age of 18.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Joey Loperfido leads off for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 5th inning, in the first pitch from Ryan Weathers. Hit back foul, 0-1. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Blue Jays trailing the Marlins 2-0. And not sure where the bat boy was on the Marlins side, but the home plate umpire, Gabe Morales, just ran over to the on-deck circle to get rid of a baseball that no one had picked up. He tosses it back into the dugout, and now the 0-1. Loperfido takes it down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I guess the ball attendants are taking it easy on the last day of the season.
A little show and go on game 162. 1-1. Check swing, called strike. 95 on the inner half. 1-2. Weathers struck out the side in the 4th inning, and he's retired the last 9 Blue Jays he's faced, going back to a Stuart Baroa 2nd inning single. Next pitch to Loperfido, popped up. Foul territory in between home plate and third base. Long run for the catcher Fortes, and he makes the catch. 1 out.
That was a really tough play for Nick Fortes. It's almost like Connor Norby should have made that play, the third baseman. This injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pereira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca.
Before the update, the pitch to Tyler Heineman, switch hitting catcher. He bats from the right side and takes outside, ball 1. If you weren't with us yesterday, Leo Jimenez experiencing some inflammation after leaping to catch a line drive in game 1 of the series. He was out yesterday and remains out today. 1-0 pitch is hit in the air by Heineman to center. Coming in late is Myers, but he gets there in time. 2 down. And also, Yariel Rodriguez was optioned today to the spring training complex, though not due to any injury or anything like that. Blue Jays just bringing up Brandon Eister to make sure that they have enough pitchers to cover the innings. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. back up to the plate now for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. And again, Guerrero tries for a 200th hit on the season. This is his 3rd plate appearance of the game. Pitch from Weathers. And Guerrero hits it foul, 0-1.
And we are quickly running out of time. The bottom of the 5th now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 3rd at-bat of the ballgame.
He had 2 hits in the opener, but went hitless yesterday. 0 for his last 5 with a walk in the middle. 0-1. Swing and another one hit foul, 0-2. Guerrero steps into the box, taps the plate twice, and looks out at Weathers. Lefty winds. With 2 outs, the 0-2. Low ball 1.
Really nice take. A tough little slider there, a little sweeper from Weathers. Looked like a strike and then kind of just dove below the strike zone.
The 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Guerrero walked in the 1st, and he grounded out to short in the 2nd, although he nearly legged out an infield single. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Chases that slider below the knees. It's a strikeout for Guerrero, and another 1-2-3 inning for Weathers. He's retired 12 in a row, and we will go to the 6th with the Marlins up 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Ontario is helping you keep more of what's yours. We cut the gas tax and scrap the license plate sticker fee and drive clean program for most vehicles. saving drivers across the province hundreds of dollars each and every year. Learn more about how you're saving more at ontario.ca/keeping costs down. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Hey, this is Eric Swanson. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Big time in a small town.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 6th inning, and it's 2-0 Marlins in game 162 of the season. Dylan Tate's first pitch is outside to Jonah Bride, 1-0. With Guerrero hitting last inning, we didn't get to a lot of your texts, but we will get to them now. So the texts keep piling up. The 1-0 outside 2-0. Nice message from George and Shannon in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. 2-0. High ball 3. Gordon Sue texting in, let's go Horwitz from Moncton, New Brunswick. Thank you so much, Gordon Sue. Wind from Tate and his 3-0 to Bride. Outside ball 4 after a 3-pitch strikeout to end last inning. Tate comes back with a 4-pitch walk to Jonah Bride to start this one.
Yeah, that was an easy walk for Jonah Bride. 4 pitches that really weren't close to the zone. But I like Dylan Tate's stuff. The fastball has a lot of life to it, mid-90s. And keep in mind, he was the 4th overall pick in 2015.
Picked by the Texas Rangers, came up and pitched in the major leagues exclusively with Baltimore until this year. First pitch to Jesus Sanchez is popped up third base side, drifting toward foul territory. De Los Santos steps over the line, makes the catch, straddling the foul line, and they'll point and say it was in fair territory that he made the catch. 1 out. Thank you, Mike, near Davidson, Saskatchewan. Appreciate you tuning into this one. Dane Myers now coming up for the Marlins, the center fielder who's 0 for 2. Bats with a runner on first and 1 out, top of the 6th. Tate from the stretch, delivers home. Fastball for a strike. Thank you, Gary in Toronto, for texting in and watching our games this year, or listening to them as Dane Myers fouls back the 0-1. It's 0-2. I believe another wave has started, Chris, here at Rogers Center.
That's your favorite thing. Yeah. All 5 levels are getting into this one.
0-2 pitch, outside 1-2. I'm not sure the boxes are getting. I could be wrong.
Oh, there's a couple boxes that are getting into it.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. They are.
Oh, they're eating their lobster?
1-2 pitch. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Brett DeGus is now getting loose down in that bullpen out in left field.
Tate set at the belt, and his pitch. Check swing, it's outside, ball 3. So a full count with a runner on first and a 2-0 Marlins lead, top of the 6th. Tate about to throw his 14th pitch. Here it is. Swing and a liner off the top of the glove of Schneider, leaping at second and down in center field. Sprinting up to second goes Jonah Bride. Safe at first is Dane Myers, as that one just skipped out of Schneider's glove and likely to go down as a base hit.
Yeah, I'd like to see the replay on that one. I think that ball actually was in his glove for a split second and was hit so hard, kind of knocked it back a little bit, but really good effort from Davis Schneider. Yeah, that ball actually went in his glove.
Yeah, you're right. Pete Walker now is going to go out to the mound so we can keep going to the text line at 590-590. Evan texting in from Sedley, Saskatchewan. Thank you so much for texting in. Mike and Lorraine driving down Highway 400. Thank you so much for texting in. Cliff sending a very nice message from Newfoundland. Really appreciate you tuning in on your long-haul truck drives that you are doing throughout the year. Really appreciate that you are listening to our broadcast while you're doing it. Wayne in the GTA, thank you so much for texting in from the GTA. I got a good one for you, Chris. How about Dan from Japan texting in?
I love it.
Dan from Japan.
Where is he? Harajuku? That's where I live.
That's a question that I do not have the answer to.
Right. Let's text him back.
Otto Lopez is up, and the pitch is hit on the ground, third base side. Fair ball, bounces over the bag and hits the short retaining wall and left. Coming around third and in to score Bride. They will hold up Dane Myers at third. It's an RBI double for Lopez, and the Marlins extend their lead 3-0.
Really nice base hit from Otto Lopez. He's really turning into a solid major league player. Good base stealer, good defender. And he's really coming along with the bat. That was a nice base hit down the line, an RBI for Otto Lopez.
For Lopez, his 39th RBI of the season, 23rd double of the year. And Tate in some trouble now. The infield is in. Second and third for the Marlins and one out. Griffin Conine up in the pitch. Outside ball one. So yeah, Dan from Japan, if you're listening, you can text us in where specifically in Japan you're listening from. And we will relay that information over to Chris. Next pitch hit foul by Conine into the Blue Jays' third base side dugout. 1-1. Monica and Ken right now texted in as they're camping at Rondo Park on the shores of Lake Erie. Very nice message from you guys. Thank you so much for texting in and listening to our broadcast this season. Next pitch to Conine is a 1-1 hit foul to the left, 1-2. Got another Kelowna for you, Chris. Roger in Kelowna sending in a nice message as well. Thank you very much, Roger.
It's a beautiful place. Good place to be this time of year. I'm sure the weather is absolutely perfect.
1-2. In the dirt, sliding block by Heineman, and that's going to save a run. Keep it 3-0 Marlins here in the sixth.
Still just one out in this inning. The Blue Jays now down 3-0. And the Marlins are threatening. Runners on second and third. It's a big pitch right here for Dylan Tate.
Right, he sets at the belt. Infield is in. And the 2-2. Fastball, froze him. Strike three looking. Might have got a bit of a break on a pitch that looked inside, but Griffin Conine goes down and the infield can back up.
Well, I think Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire, saw the run on that fastball. It looked like that baseball ran back over the inside part of the plate, and Tyler Heineman doing a good job of framing that pitch, making it look like a strike even though it wasn't.
Looks like that'll be the end of Dylan Tate's day. John Schneider takes the baseball with runners on second and third and two outs. It's going to be a pitching change as Brett DeGuss jogs in from left field. 3-0 Marlins against second and third, two outs. Let's go back to our host today, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget, once again, we have the final edition of Jays Talk of the season. It'll be Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. They are here at the Rogers Center. They will take your phone calls. They'll take your texts, 590-590. Name and location, that is the People's Text line. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call the phone lines after the final out. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We'll continue checking scores around Week 4 of the NFL. That Vikings-Packers game did end 31-29 was the final score for the Vikings over the Packers. Dontavian Wicks with a long score at the end, but the Vikings did get the onside kick and they kneeled it out. Elsewhere, we have the Bears holding on for a 24-18 win over the Rams. Stafford gets intercepted towards the end of that game, and the Bears managed to hold on. The Buccaneers run wild over the Eagles. Baker Mayfield was feeling it today. He also ran in a touchdown alongside running back Bucky Irving. It's a 33-16 win for the Eagles in Tampa. The Panthers lose to the Bengals in the revenge game, #revenge for Andy Dalton. The Bengals win 34-24. Jamar Chase had a pretty good day. Both running backs, Chase Brown and Zach Moss, had a good day as well. Deontay Johnson did catch a touchdown on the Carolina side. And perhaps a game of who wanted to win it less. The Broncos beating the Jets 10-9. Will Lutz missing a field goal that would have put it away for the Broncos late. The Jets get the ball back, and Greg Zuerlein misses a field goal that would have win it, so the Jets lose that game, and the Broncos win back-to-back games on the road. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action right here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. Brett DeGus on the mound. 2 outs, second and third. 3-0 Marlins, top of the 6th. Pitch to Nick Fortes is 95 on the outside edge for strike 1. DeGus, a right-hander who can reach the upper 90s with his fastball, making his second appearance as a Blue Jay. 0-1. Fortes hits it foul down the right field line. A guy who has caught him. DeGus has pitched for the Marlins this year. It's 0-2.
And we saw DeGus on Friday. He really struggled with the command. Although that fastball is very good, if I'm Ross Atkins, I am watching this guy closely. A lot of movement, and like you said, Ben, high 90s.
Righty's 0-2. Fastball. Called a ball. Definitely had the zone. It's 1-2. A run in this inning for the Marlins, but still a game within reach right now. Myers on third, Lopez on second. 2 outs, and DeGus is 1-2. Fought off foul to the right. Quickly go back to the text line. Thank you, Robin, who's sitting in a tractor in southwest Manitoba listening. Appreciate you texting in.
That's the best one of the day.
You like that one?
I have to say, that's the best one of the day.
1-2. Down and away, 2-2. Daryl in Calgary texted in. Thank you very much, Daryl. Chris in Asquith, Saskatchewan. Pardon me. Thank you so much for texting in. Two pitch, hit foul off the end of the bat. Still 2-2. Gives us a chance to shout out Steve from Abbotsford, British Columbia. Thanks for texting in, Steve.
Can you imagine sitting on a tractor in the middle of Manitoba listening to a ball game? That sounds amazing.
Does sound great. 2-2. Chopped softly to third base, charging in De Los Santos' gloves and tags the runner Otto Lopez. The run from third will not score. And that is going to do it for the inning. A run in on 2 hits by the Marlins, and they're up 3-0, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A new generation of hip-hop superstars was born on SoundCloud.
What's up? This is Cash Cobain.
It's Lil Tyler.
It's doing little baby.
Stay connected to what's popping online. Now.
Let's get it.
With the Sirius XM channel, where new hip-hop is always on. SoundCloud Radio.
Yeah. Clear the runway, because we about to take off on SoundCloud Radio.
Listen in the car or at home with your Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning, the Blue Jays trailing the Miami Marlins 3-0 in game 162 of the year. I'm Ben Schulman, next to Chris LaRue. Jonathan Clase leading off for the Blue Jays against the talented lefty starter Ryan Weathers for Miami. Glove overhead, Weathers kicks and delivers, And Clase takes a strike 0-1. We'll continue to go to your text as this inning continues. The 0-1 to Clase. Fouled off, 0-2. Blue from Lucknow, thank you so much for texting in, Blue. And Chris, I believe we got some more specifics on Dan from Japan.
He's from Tokyo, or he lives in Tokyo, Meguro, which is not far from the Shibuya crossing. That's the really famous crossing that, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's somewhere around 100,000 people cross over just walking every single day. And the Shibuya crossing was pretty close to where I was in Harajuku. Relatively walkable, close to the Tokyo Dome and Meiji Jingu Stadium, which was my stadium in Tokyo. Tokyo's a huge place, by the way.
0-2 pitch down, and in Clase checks his swing, appeal to first, no swing, 1-2. And this is why we have you here, because that was a lot of information that I do not know off the top of my head.
Well, if you ever think about visiting Tokyo, Japan, it's a beautiful place. I highly recommend it.
1-2 pitch is low, 2-2. I would love to at some point. Maybe see some NPB and then go potentially to Korea and maybe see some KBO as well.
Well, just hope that the Blue Jays go there for an exhibition game one year.
That would be pretty sweet.
You get to go there for free.
That would be pretty sweet. 2-2. Down and in, ball 3. Ken and Anita tuning in from the ballpark in section 531. Thank you for the nice message, and thanks for tuning in while at the ball game. Appreciate you doing that. Gord and Hamilton, thanks so much for tuning in as well. Next pitch to Clase is vaulted out to deep left field. Going back, Griffin Conine, and just in front of the warning track, he makes the catch, 1 out. Daryl and Jackie have texted in from Cudworth, Saskatchewan. Thank you so much. Ellie in Toronto texting in that she did not have a great time going on the DVP, by the way. We're still this is the backlog, so we were talking about that early on, and this is where we're at. But
you were probably earlier on in the day.
I was earlier,
yeah. You beat the rush.
First pitch to Spencer Horwitz, a called strike 0-1. 3-0 Marlins, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Roger from Winnipeg texting in. Thank you, Roger. Ben from Brampton messaging as well. 0-1. Outside 1-1. Got a picture, by the way, from the Alaska Highway driver, Dave, who texted us earlier. It was as scenic as you think it was. Next pitch to Horwitz is hit very high to shallow center. Backing up the shortstop Edwards. Overruled by the center fielder Myers, who makes the catch, and there are 2 outs.
Have you ever driven through Colorado? Like the Denver area, Aspen, into Utah? Whew, you got to do that before you die, yeah.
I've done have you ever done upstate New York? There's like Catskills and that kind of stuff. It's better than you'd think.
I've only done Western New York.
Right. Rochester, New York's Ernie Clement is up with 2 outs in the pitch. Swing and a 1-hopper picked at third by Connor Norby. Rookie tosses over to first. A nice play to end the inning. Ryan Weathers is absolutely cruising, and that's why we have raced to the 7th, where the Marlins lead 3-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, I'll move them day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2meninaTruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hey, Jays fans, ready to hit a home run with your next roofing project? Step up to the plate with GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, the official roofing shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just like our Jays, GAF Timberline HDZ shingles deliver top performance with unmatched durability and protection. So, when it's time to cover your bases, choose the winning team. Visit your local Home Depot or shop online at homedepot.ca for all your roofing shingles and accessories. GAF, we protect what matters most.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the ball game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of 7 in downtown Toronto. Marlins up 3-0 on the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman, and to my left is Chris LaRue. Top of the order for the Marlins, big Jake Berger is leading off against Brett DeGuz, who starts him off with a first pitch breaking ball low, ball 1. 1 for 3 day for Berger, singled and scored in the first inning. The pitch. Swing and a pop-up foul, first base side. Horwitz jogging over past John Jay, the first base coach for the Marlins, and Horwitz makes the catch. 1 out.
And how about that? Spencer Horwitz actually almost ran into John Jay. Horwitz and John Jay are having a little bit of a chat right now, but former Cardinal, pretty athletic still over there, getting out of the way of Spencer Horwitz.
For sure. John Jay, he was a very solid player for a number of years with the Cardinals, bounced around a little bit, and even played as recently as 2021 in the major leagues, coaching for the Marlins. After the quick out, Xavier Edwards is coming up. And, Chris, I think you know what we're going back to, because every time I look, there are more texts than before. We're going back to the text line in a sec. Pitch to Edwards. Swing and a fly ball out to left. Low Perfido jogging back, has a beat on it, makes the catch with one hand, 2 outs.
This game is going way too quickly for you to get to those texts.
I apologize to those who have texted in the last hour 20. I'm still on the 3:20, 3:30 text. Mike and Jackie from Melville, Saskatchewan, thank you so much. Penny and Riley in Scarborough, thank you very much for tuning in and texting in. Appreciate it.
Let's get more tractors. How about that?
I'm looking. I'll search. Pitch to Connor Norby. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 2 out. Space is empty. Top of the 7th. 3-0 Marlins. I can't give you a tractor right now, but Rob from Gala Lake is listening at the cottage.
That does sound nice. That sounds nice.
Thank you very much, Rob. Dan in Beamsville with a very nice text. Thank you so much. 0-1 pitch. Hit foul by Norby. 0-2. Nick in North Bay texted in. Thank you very much. Matthew and Elena driving to Waterloo. Thank you very much. And I believe a Thornhill Reds connection was there, so thank you very much. Next pitch to Connor Norby. Hit on the ground to deep third. Long throw for De Los Santos, but he throws his strike over to Horwitz. And that'll end the inning. 1-2-3 for Brett DeGuz. He's retired all 4 he's faced. And we go to the 7th inning stretch for the final time in 2024 with the Blue Jays trailing the Marlins 3-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We have a plan that's connecting Ontario. We're building new roads and highways like the Bradford Bypass and Highway 413 to shorten your daily commute by up to an hour. And adding more lanes to reduce gridlock on some of North America's busiest routes to keep you and our economy moving forward. All so you can get around faster, safer, easier. See what we're building in your community at ontario.ca/builds. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Flatty with a huge stretch for the double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom 7, Blue Jays trailing 3-0 to the Miami Marlins at Rogers Center. Last game of the season, Davis Schneider leading off. Takes a breaking ball low, 1-0. Ryan Weathers still on right now for the Miami Marlins. The starter puts his glove overhead, kicks and releases, and Schneider swings and misses 1-1. Blue Jays had a big chance to score runs against Weathers in the first inning. Bases loaded, no outs, and didn't score. He's allowed one base runner since. Here's 1-1. In the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to everyone who's texted in, like Chris from Markham, who sent a kind message. Thank you, Chris. 2-1. Hi, 3-1. I got a text you're going to love, Chris. Got a text from the Mississauga North Tigers U15 team on their way back from fall ball in Oshawa.
Do we know what the score was?
3-1. Hit high in the air, down the right field line. Going back, the first baseman Bride into foul territory. He runs out of room. 2-2. I didn't see a score there. If they want to text in, feel free, and we will try to locate that and update that when we can. Dale and Lisa from Mossbank, Saskatchewan, thank you so much for tuning in. Same with Mike and Bill in Tunkwa Lake, BC. Wendy, Mike, and Bill, pardon me. 3-2 to Schneider. Swing and a line drive caught at third by Norby, and the Blue Jays just can't buy a base runner right now. 1 out.
David Schneider absolutely hammered that baseball to Connor Norby. Connor Norby was playing in the exact perfect spot, right in the hole on the left side of the infield. David Schneider kind of stared out at him for a second, kind of disbelief.
So that's the first out of the inning, and Luis De Los Santos is up. Weathers pitch. Swing and a foul off, 0-1. Blue Jays down 3-0. Obviously, they want to try to get back in it, but also with the lack of base runners, less chances for Vlad Guerrero Jr. to hit. He could only have one more shot at a 200th hit this season. 0-1. Check swing, pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, I forget what he was saying, or who said it, but didn't a texter say a game-winning walk-off grand slam?
That was what
it's
they
3-0.
Yeah.
It could work.
1-1. Inside 2-1. Bottom of the 7th right now in downtown Toronto. Weathers approaching 100 pitches. Lefty's 97th of the start. Swing and a line drive. Fair ball down the left field line. A base hit bouncing into the corner. De Los Santos around first. He jogs into second with his second major league double. Blue Jays fans getting very excited. That's the first hit or base runner at all for Toronto since the second inning.
Well, I bet De Los Santos is going to feel good on that flight tomorrow morning. Just rips that double down the line. Like you said, his second major league double. Nice little swing from De Los Santos.
And now a walk out to the mound as Ryan Weathers' day is going to come to an end. Acting manager Luis Ureta points to the bullpen. And that means that we will have a pitching change and a little break in the action here at Rogers Center. 3-0 Marlins. Runner on second, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Let's go to our host today once again. Here's Show Ali.
Ben, I feel like if there's any more pitching changes, you might have to use this to catch up on the text line. Before we do that, though, let's give you a reminder, actually, that before this game, before we say goodbye, I should say, we'll have another edition of Jays Talk. Of course, Blair and Barker are here at the ballpark. The guys will take your phone calls and take your texts. 590-590, as you well know, is the text line. It's always open. Standard data and messaging rates will apply. And, of course, Blair will throw out the numbers for you guys to call once this game is in the books. All right, let's continue checking the Week 4 NFL scoreboard. There are 4 games on the go right now. All of the late game windows are currently open. The Patriots are trailing the 49ers 13-0. A pair of field goals and a Fred Warner interception returned for a touchdown. The errant throw right into the hands of Warner, and he returned it for the pick six. The Commanders lead the Cardinals 14-7. Pair of rushing touchdowns for Washington. None from Jaden Daniels, but still they have played well. Cardinals scoring early. Also, the Browns lead the Raiders 10-0 in a game that Devontae Adams was ruled out a couple days ago. That game's in the end of the first quarter. And in Los Angeles, the Chargers lead their division rivals, the Chiefs, 10-0. Patrick Mahomes has thrown an interception. Carson Steele has fumbled the football. And Rashee Rice, on the interception return for the Chargers, was carted off. He forced a fumble, but ran into Mahomes himself on that interception return and was carted off and is questionable to return with a knee injury. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. 29-year-old Lake Bacher makes his 10th Major League appearance all this season, all with Miami. The righty comes on as the first reliever for the Marlins today after a great start from Ryan Weathers. Weathers leaves a runner on second base with one out in the bottom of the seventh inning. 3-0 Marlins. And the pitch to Stuart Baroa. Low ball one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We're going to get back to the texts in a second that just keep flying in, like the one from Jules from BMV Books on Edward Street. Thank you so much, Jules. Next pitch to Baroa, grounded foul, 1-1. The Lawson family from Ravenna, Ontario. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much. Chris from Ottawa. Maybe not on the tractor, Chris, but Chris from Ottawa is mowing the lawn while he listens to the game. Next pitch to Stuart Baroa's way outside, 2-1.
It depends if it's a riding mower or not.
These are questions I don't have answers to.
It's not as sweet if he's pushing something right now.
A look at second by Bacher, and it's 2-1. Check swing, called strike, 2-2. Jess from Clifford, Ontario, texting in. Matt, Maddie, and baby Lachlan from Petawawa texting in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next pitch to Baroa is flared out to shallow right field. Charging in, Sanchez pulls up. It gets down in front of him for a base hit. Up to third base goes De Los Santos. And on a day where the Blue Jays only have 4 hits so far, it's the second knock for Stuart Baroa. Runners on the corners and only 1 out for Toronto.
Yeah, really good swing from Stuart Baroa. Kind of was out in front of it just a little bit, but was able to keep the bat back and get just enough of that split finger from Bakar out to right field.
First time the Blue Jays are really threatening since the first inning, down 3-0 with Joey Loperfido up. Bacher in the set, peeks at first, and the righties pitch home to Loperfido. Outside ball one. While cycling in Kitchener, we got a text from Juanita. Thank you so much for texting in and tuning in. Same with Jason from Saskatchewan, who's enjoying a beautiful day at the lake. Rob from Brampton texted in. So did Anthony from Whistler. Next pitch to Loperfido, well outside, 2-0.
You ever been to Whistler?
I have been to Whistler.
That's a spot.
Fantastic. Two-0 pitch. Called strike, 2-1. Chris from Saskatchewan texted in and had a very nice message and also wanted to mention that he's from the Oakville-Streetsville area.
Perfect.
Like Chris LaRue. So thank you so much for texting in, Chris. 2-1 pitch. Called strike, 2-2. First and third from the Blue Jays. 1 out. Bottom of the seventh inning. Toronto trailing 3-0. Bacher, the right-hander, is set. And it's 2-2. Low ball 3.
I actually had somebody come up to me today before the game. I don't know if they worked at the stadium or they were a fan, but they asked me if I was from Montreal, and I said, "Yeah, I'm from Montreal. I was born there. My parents grew up there."
Next pitch, Baroa takes off, and it's fouled back, still 3-2.
But I moved to Mississauga when I was about 4 years old, and they were really disappointed. The fact that I actually wasn't a true Quebecer, I was just born there, and then I kind of moved to Ontario. They were really, really disappointed.
Well, you should tell them which hockey team you're here for. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a ground ball hooked to second. Up with it, Lopez. He bobbles, throws to first. He will get low Perfido, but a run comes in to score. De Los Santos in to score. Baroa up to second base. It's an RBI fielder's choice ground out. Blue Jays on the board. 3-1 now for Miami with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And not an RBI fielder's choice, an RBI ground out. Perhaps the speed there of Baroa creating a little bit of havoc for Lopez, the second baseman, who bobbled on the transfer, looking to turn 2. Tyler Heineman now steps up to the plate. 2 outs and a runner on second. 3-1 for the Marlins over the Blue Jays, bottom 7.
And don't look now, but look who's in that on-deck circle.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. First pitch to Heineman. Way outside, ball 1. Back on the text line, John from Edmonton texting in with a very nice message. Thanks so much. Susan from Mississauga, just up the road from Streetsville and the Tigers, texts in. Next pitch hit foul by Heineman, 1-1. Got a text from Quispamsis, New Brunswick. Sadie texting in. Thank you so much. Andrew and Bobo from St. Pete, Florida, texting in. Thank you very much. 1-1 to Heineman. Fouled back into the netting, 1-2.
Hope everybody's doing all right down in St. Pete.
Yeah, seriously. Hope everyone is okay and doing well with the weather down there. Got a text from Anita in Little Britain, Ontario, sitting on her pontoon boat on the lake while listening. 1-2. Called strike 3. Backdoor breaking ball freezes Heineman, and that's how the 7th inning comes to a close. The Blue Jays are on the board. They get a run on 2 hits, but we'll have to wait another inning for Vladdy to come up. It's 3-1 Marlins going to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray.
Along with Charles Barkley and Coach Belichick.
One of the reasons I admire Coach Belichick, the number one thing has always got to be the game. So always respect the guys who played the game before you.
I try to teach our players that all the time, every chance I get. The history of the game. You know, the game just didn't get great when you walked on the field.
Listen to the extended version of Let's Go, now available exclusively on the all-new SiriusXM app.
A new year in the NBA is right around the corner, and NBA Radio has you covered.
Tatum muscles it up and scoring a foul.
Our experts are breaking down the entire league.
That's going to be a fun team to watch.
And bringing you inside the locker room.
It is a must-win game.
Basketball season is just weeks away, and your 24/7 home for hoops is SiriusXM NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Jays fans, this is George Springer, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
George Springer, airborne, snatches it out of the sky.
Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Thank you so much for tuning in to game 162 of the season. It's 3-1 for the Marlins right now, and Brandon Eisert is on for the Blue Jays in the top of the 8th. Lefty Eisert deals to Jonah Bride and misses high, ball 1. We're going to continue to get to the text We're realistically not going to get to all of them, unfortunately. There's a large number stacked up, but thank you for texting in. 1-0 pitch from Isert, misses outside, 2-0. Ken in Southampton, Chris, listening on the tractor to us. So I got you another tractor. 2-0. Called strike, 2-1. Now I got it right that you have no clue how to drive a tractor, right?
I almost bought a vintage tractor just because it looked cool.
But you don't know how to drive.
No.
2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And to be clear, neither do I. not saying that one of us does.
I would have guessed that you did not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's offensive to you, but
there's not a lot of place to drive your tractor in and around Toronto. There's some places, but not a lot of tractors. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a foul back by Bryant. Still 2-2. Very nice message from Cody from Scarborough. Thank you so much. Dave and his sons, Hudson and Brett in Whitby, listening and texting in. Thank you, guys. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off of Tyler Heineman, who slaps his hand into his glove. Wanted to hold on to that for the strikeout. Instead, it's still 2-2. Doug and Rhonda in Brussels, Ontario. Thank you for the text. Same with Paul and Dana in Halifax. And Leroy from Ayr. Thank you so much. 2-2. High ball 3. Randy from Deep River, Ontario. Thanks for the text. Jason from Scarborough. Appreciate the text. Same with Carol and Brian from Pickering. 3-2. Hit on the ground to first. Takes a high hop and bangs off the chest of Horwitz. He picks it up, flips back to Isert. Good recovery for the out. Well, Spencer Horwitz caught at times in high school, and he showed his blocking ability right there. He took that one clean off the chest.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good at first base. I mean, he's not going to ever win a gold glove, but a really nice play right there. Like you said, keeping that ball in front of him. Brandon Isert does a good job getting over to first base. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher kind of wait on the mound to see the play, but Isert does a nice job getting over there.
Isert's pitch now to Jesus Sanchez, high ball 1. Got a text from Richard from Quebec City. Thank you very much, Richard. 1-0. Foul tip, 1-1. Alan and Mary Lou texting in from Lake Diefenbaker, Saskatchewan. Appreciate you guys tuning in from the lake. 1-1. High 2-1. A little bit closer to where you're situated, Chris, in the offseason at least. Dan and Judy, Peter and Lorna from the GTA, but listening from Arizona right now as the 2-1 pitches hit foul, 2-2.
I was looking at weather in Palm Springs today, just randomly. It's 44 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's not my kind of
So I'm assuming Arizona's similar.
I would guess.
That's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot. 2-2. Sanchez swings and misses. A foul tip into the glove of Heineman. Strike 3, and there are 2 down in the top of the 8th. Covering a new area of Canada, our first texter in from Northwest Territories, Reed Lake. It's John texting in. Thank you, John. Janice from St. Catharines texting in with a very nice message. Thank you so much, Janice. 2 outs now, and the right-handed hitting center fielder Dane Myers is up. 3-1 Marlins over Blue Jays. First pitch, called strike. Isert gets ahead of him 0-1. Frank from Quadra Island, BC, texting in. Thank you, Frank. Easton and Evelyn from Angus, Ontario. 0-1. High and outside, 1-1. Also Grant from East York. And Sam is listening in the spa in Whitby, Ontario right now. 1-1. swing, and a line drive taken on a bounce at second by Schneider. Throws from the right field turf over to first and ends the inning. 1-2-3 for Brandon Eisert. A very nice inning, and the Blue Jays still right in this one. They trail 3-1, go into the bottom of the 8th, and guess who's leading off? It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Maybe his last at-bat of the season. Can he get hit 200? You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Ontario is helping you keep more of what's yours. We cut the gas tax and scrap the license plate sticker fee drive clean program for most vehicles, saving drivers across the province hundreds of dollars each and every year. Learn more about how you're saving more at ontario.ca/keeping costs down. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fans on their feet, getting loud as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits to lead off the bottom of the 8th inning. Potentially the last chance for hit 200. Lake Backer delivers home and misses down and away, ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Guerrero looking for hit number 200 on the season, 0 for 2 today. The 1-0. Hit foul off the end of the bat, 1-1.
Kind of looked like Vlad was going for a homer for hit number 200 there.
He has 30 homers on the season. He's driven in 103. And, of course, if the year ended on 199 hits, it would still be a fantastic year for Guerrero. But 200 would be something special. 1-1 pitch. Bounce to the plate, ball 2. And the fans booing the ball because it's not giving Guerrero a chance to swing the bat. The set and the 2-1. Down and away, ball 3, and not even borderline pitches really that Vlad has a chance to swing at. And if he gets walked here, this place is going to go nuts. And not in a positive one. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. 95 on the outside edge. Huge cut. It's 3-2.
That was the one right there. Pulled that shoulder off. It was a pretty good fastball in the outside part of the plate. A huge hack from Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Full count to start the bottom of the 8th. The payoff pitch. Down and away, ball 4, and Guerrero walks. And that could be the last plate appearance for Vlad. We'll see if they want to bring on a pinch runner for Guerrero to give him the send-off. I think they might. John Schneider is talking with Nathan Lucas on the top step. And Vlad is walking off the field. So that is going to be it for the season for Guerrero. Comes up just short of 200, but a fantastic year for Vlad. The fans on their feet. He waves his right hand, acknowledging the crowd. And he will walk back into the Blue Jay dugout.
It almost looked to me like that was Vladimir Guerrero's choice. He kind of looked into the dugout at John Schneider, or maybe even Nathan Lucas, and he motioned for somebody to come out. Interesting.
Pitch now to Jonathan Clase. Shows bunt, pulls it back. 1-0.
Because there still is an outside chance that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could come up again in this ballgame.
It is possible. Would require some rallying from the Blue Jays, who have 4 hits today and 1 run, trailing 3-1. Pitch to Clase. Again, he shows bunt and bunts this one foul. Let's go back to the text line. Happy birthday to Rika, who's listening from section 519 at the ballpark. Thank you so much, Rika, and happy birthday. Sarah, Caitlin, and Doug out in British Columbia, thank you so much. Same with Angie from Woodbridge and Steve from Hanover, Ontario. Next pitch to Clase is outside, 2-1. Scott and Liam are driving home from the cottage as Nick Fortes jogs out to the mound to talk to the righty reliever. Thank you, Scott and Liam. Same with John from Radville, Saskatchewan. Gord's in beautiful Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, and he texted in. Thank you so much. Same with Arnold from Port Reeves, Saskatchewan. Sherry from Kitchener texted in. Thank you, Sherry. Dwayne and Jackie are on the dock on the Muskoka River in Bracebridge, Ontario, texted in.
Jealous. Well, no, I'm not jealous. This is a pretty good view, too.
We're both in good spots.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch now to Baroa. Called strike, looked outside, but it's 2-2. Dave in Lethbridge with a nice text. Thank you so much, Dave. Two in the dirt, ball 3, and Clase puts his palm up to the runner on first, Nathan Lucas, to tell him to stay as Fortes got in front of the ball in the dirt. Weetha J in Sparta, Ontario with a very nice message. Thank you so much. Jody and Rob are camping right now in the backcountry, they said, and listening. Thank you. Next pitch to Clase is a foul tip, and that'll be strike 3 as he goes down on a 3-2 fastball, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Rob and Nancy in Thamesville, Ontario with a text. Ron, Danny, Scott, and Rob listening while fishing right now on Burford Lake. Pitch to Spencer Horwitz with 1 out. Outside, ball 1.
Do you think people are trying to one-up each other? Fishing.
I don't think it's
on
competitive.
The dock. It might be a little competitive.
I think that's the you living in America in the off season.
No.
There's so many nice spots. There's no need to compete. 1-0. Swing and a moonshot pop-up. Foul near the third base dugout. Third baseman Connor Norby makes his way into foul territory and makes the catch, 2 outs.
Well, Spencer Horwitz was really disappointed with that result. That was a fastball right down the middle, and he just hit a little pop-up into foul territory on the left field side of the diamond, but that's a fastball that he normally hammers.
Looks like that'll be the last pitch that Lake Bacher throws in this game. Acting manager Luis Ureta out to the mound, and it's going to be a pitching change for the Marlins. While Miami warms up a new pitcher, we can stick around and take a look at some more texts like Griffin and Mike in Victoria, BC, or Reverend Jeff, in Wingham. Thank you so much for texting in. George and Don driving to Prince George, BC. Taking a listen to us and texting in today. Thank you so much. Another text from Parry Sound, Ontario. Dellard texting in. Thank you very much. Stanley from Ottawa is texting in right now, along with a Siberian Husky listening to the game, so appreciate that. Steph from Quebec City is texting in right now. Thank you very much, Steph. Same with Sharon and Bob from Beaver Harbor, New Brunswick. Lynn and Coburn texted in. Thank you very much, Lynn. Chad in Saskatoon, or just north of Saskatoon, texted us as well. Still a lot of texts to get through, but trying to get to as many of your messages as we can. Like Parker and John, who are at Rogers Center today listening. Really appreciate you tuning in at the ballpark, Parker and John. Same with Heather from Thunder Bay, Ontario. We have Ann, Lynn, and Chris listening in Alliston, Ontario. Thank you very much. Nick from Saskatchewan. Same with Brad from Lampman, Saskatchewan. Gary from Mississauga texted in. And so did Alex from Chambly, Quebec. Text from Chris on Martin River in Ontario. Thank you very much. Lisa in Fredericton with a text. Chris Allen texting in from Farmington, Nova Scotia. Appreciate the message. Also have a message from Sam from Hammer, Ontario.
I don't know what that is.
I have not heard of
Hamilton
yet. We're getting a nod from Jeff Blair.
All right, there you go.
So,
well, I know Hamilton is the Hammer.
Yeah.
But maybe there is a city named Hammer. I don't know.
It's a big province, but I think you're probably right with that one. Anthony Bender now into the game as we resume action. 2 outs, runner on first, bottom of the 8th, and the pitch to Ernie Clement is outside, ball 1. Blue Jays have the tying run at the plate here in this 8th inning. Clement does have 12 home runs on the season. Bender's 1-0. Down and away by a mile, 2 balls and no strikes.
Ben, are we sure that it's not Hanmer? Because there's a Hanmer, Ontario.
It is Hanmer.
Hanmer?
You're right. It is Hanmer. And that's on me. Trying to get through these quickly.
That's okay.
Sam from Hanmer, Ontario. Thank you very much. Macy from Mitchell, Ontario. Appreciate the text. 2-0 now to Clement. Fouled off 2-1, and Ernie hit that off of his front left foot. Goes down to his stomach and pops back up. And he looks to be all right. He's just going to walk it off.
And we've talked about this pretty often this season. Ernie Clement really wears no protection. Actually, no protection at all. Although he hit that off his back knee.
Clement, who played hockey really all the way through as a kid in Rochester. Tough guy, pops back up, and here's the 2-1 pitch with Lucas on first. Hit foul to the right, 2-2. Joe from Toronto with a very kind text. Really appreciate those nice words, Joe. Neil and Sebastian in Mississauga sending in a nice text. Thank you very much. Merv in Milton washing the car and listening to the game. Hope that's going well, Merv. 2-2. Fouled off by Clement, reached for a pitch inside, still 2-2.
There's a lot of things I like in this life, and it's washing the car is one of them.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure that you do like washing the car.
I'll wash my car every single day.
That might be a little over.
Don't look at me like that.
A new location popping up here in the 8th inning. Mike is from Kitchener, but listening in Nebraska. Thank you very much. Saying he's on a scenic drive as well. 2-2. High ball 3. Full count and 2 outs now, so Nathan Lucas is going to be off on the pitch. Blue Jays trailing 3-1, bottom of the 8th. Text from Alex from Richmond Hill. 3-2. Lucas leaves from first, and the pitch is called strike 3. Bender comes into the game, strikes out Clement to end the inning, and we will go to the 9th. Blue Jays down 3-1 to the Miami Marlins. One more inning to go potentially in the 2024 season. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi there, it's Will Arnett, host of Smartless, a podcast I do with my pals Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, with special guests.
His first name in Hawaiian means cool breeze over the mountains. Guys, it's the legendary Keanu Reeves.
No. Guys, it's Kelly Clarkson!
Yeah. He is widely regarded as the greatest shooter in NBA history. Say hello to Steph Curry.
It's Bono.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
It's Elton John, actually.
Hear every new episode a full week early on the SiriusXM app. Just search Smartless to join the fun.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Set Radio Network.
Ninth inning of game 162. The sun's setting on the Blue Jays season. They're trailing 3-1 right now to the Miami Marlins. Thank you so much for tuning in as Brandon Eisert misses up and away to Otto Lopez, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thank you so much for tuning in to any number of games this season. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. Whether this is your 162nd, maybe even more than that if you were in spring training, or if it's your first. Really appreciate you tuning in throughout the year. 1-1. Swing and a grounder foul, 1-2. As we go into this ninth inning, we should acknowledge too the great contributions of the people who work on this broadcast, but you don't hear them on the air all the time, whether it's Luke Swadron, Andrew Adams, 1-2 pitches high, 2-2. Mike Jose Collins, Austin Mackey, Armin Zargarian, Tom Young, technical directing, Show Ali, Nick Blackmore producing. 2-2. High ball 3. Show Ali and Roger Lajoie, who you have heard hosting. Stephen Coyle also technical directing throughout the season.
Tom, what season is this for you?
Well, Tom is not on the air actively right now. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Tom Young's been around since 2008, so this would be season 17 for Tom Young, working on Blue Jays broadcasts. And nothing could happen with these broadcasts. We would not be on the air and you would not be hearing us without the great work of Tom Young. Pitch now to Griffin Conine with 1 out, and it glances past his face and goes to the backstop, ball 1. And countless others who have worked on pregame coverage, working on Blair and Barker postgame. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. A lot of people who put us in a very good position to be able to talk about Blue Jays baseball to you. 3-1 Marlins, 1 out, and the pitch to Conine. Hit off the end of the bat, a lazy fly ball to left field. Joey Loperfido tracking it, moving toward the foul line, makes the catch. 2 outs. And Chris, a lot of fun working with you. It's been both of our first years full time now on the radio.
I was about to say I'm grateful that I got to work with someone as technically sound as you. I said this to you yesterday that you're a pro, and I mean there's a lot.
Pitch up high to Nick Fortes with 2 outs, ball 1.
There's a lot of good things in your future, and I can't wait to see what you do in this sport. And in sports in general.
Well, you are too kind. It has been a pleasure working with you and hearing your insights every day as the 1-0 is hit out to left field. Loperfido on the run, reaches up and makes a beautiful running catch over the head off to the left to end the inning. Blue Jays go to the bottom of the ninth in game 162, trailing 3-1. Do they have one more magic moment left in them? We'll find out next. Davis Schneider leading off. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, Blue Jays fans, are you ready to hit a home run with your next roof? Introducing GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, designed to keep your roof looking and feeling like a winner, rain or shine. GAF is proud to be the official shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Depot.ca and search GAF to learn more about how GAF Timberline HDZ roofing shingles can elevate your home to the next level. GAF, we protect what matters most.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the ninth inning coming up in game 162 at Rogers Center. Blue Jays and Marlins locking up in this final game of the year. It's 3-1 Miami. Thank you again for tuning in to this broadcast. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Anthony Bender is getting his warm-up pitches in before the inning, and as he does, we're just going to try and get through as many of your texts as possible because we really appreciate you listening and texting in this season. So we got Jana at the Lake House in Manitou Beach, Saskatchewan. Thank you so much for tuning in and texting in. Zed from Saskatoon texting in. Really appreciate that. Cal in Regina texting in. Thank you so much. Sylvain from Valleyfield, Quebec texted in too. Really appreciate it. Davis Schneider leading off the bottom of the ninth. And Anthony Bender's pitch home is a strike, 0-1. Greg, Tristan, Scarlett, and Jesse are listening in Nanticoke, Ontario. Thank you so much. 0-1 pitch to Schneider. Check swing called strike, 0-2. Jason, Cash, and Ash driving from Wilkie, Saskatchewan to Roble, Manitoba. Appreciate you texting in. 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I have a dog named Cash, so I love that name.
There you go. Have Brian and Krista, who are from Brantford but vacationing in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, who texted in. 1-2. Outside, 2-2. A lot of nice texts, too, by the way, from some people that may have not left their name or their location. We are seeing them and appreciate that you've sent those messages in. 2-2 to Schneider. Low ball 3. Blue Jays are just asking for a base runner here. If you can get a guy on, all of a sudden the tying run comes to the plate in this 3-1 game. Bender set first base side of the rubber. Kicks the left leg and fires home. He misses way high, ball 4. Davis Schneider with a leadoff walk. And the Blue Jays have the tying run at the plate with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth.
And that's why I really don't understand why Vladimir Guerrero Jr. came out of this ballgame. There's still a chance that he could have come up in this inning.
Batter up right now will be De Los Santos, who's in the 6th spot, so Guerrero would be 4 spots away. Going to be a pinch hitter, though, with the Blue Jays looking for a big swing. Addison Barger is called off the bench in the final game of the season, trying to tie it up with 1 big swing. The righty Bender deals to the left-handed hitter Barger. Big swing and a miss. Strike 1. Barger providing one of the most fun moments at Rogers Center this year when he and Joey Loperfido went back-to-back to help the Blue Jays walk off the Angels. 0-1. Down and in. Ball 1. Got a text from Kim and Mike in Welland. Thank you so much. Kevin, Kim, and Wendy texted us in Lipton, Saskatchewan. 1-1 pitch. Barger fouls it back just off to our left. 1-2. Paul in Seeley's Bay cutting the grass texted us. Thank you so much. Nice message from John in Millbrook, Ontario. And Olaf in Lower Darnley, PEI. First Prince Edward Island text that we got today. 1-2. Barger checks his swing, pitch down and in, appeal down to third, no swing, says David Arrieta. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Barger is the tying run at the plate with Schneider on first. Bender, the righty, is set first base side of the rubber, and it's 2-2. Inside, ball 3.
Starting to get a little bit interesting for the Toronto Blue Jays here in the 9th inning.
If Barger finds his way on, now you're talking about potentially the winning run being at the plate. Three-two pitch. Swing and a chopper to second. Lopez bobbles, fumbles again, throws to first and gets Barger. But the Blue Jays catch a break as that was probably a double play ball. Schneider will be safe at second. Barger is out 4-3, and there's one down. Stuart Baroa about to come up for the Blue Jays. Thank you for the text from Finn and family. Driving home to Calgary from a vacation in British Columbia. Thank you so much. Same goes for Marcus, who texted in from Victoria, BC. Pitch now to Stuart Baroa. Outside and high, ball 1. This is the right guy up for the Blue Jays. Baroa has half of Toronto's hits in the game. He's 2 for 3. Runner on second, 3-1 Marlins. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. The pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Behind the plate, foul. Does it have enough distance to get out of play? It does not. Nick Fortes makes the catch on the back warning track, and the Blue Jays are down to their final out in the season. The campaign started for the Blue Jays back on March 28th against the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg, Florida. An 8-2 win. They trail now 3-1 to the Marlins with Joey Loperfido representing the last hope for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, bottom 9. The pitch. High, ball 1. Four home runs on the season for Loperfido. A 5th would tie this game with 2 outs. The 1-0 offering. Swing and a grounder, hooked foul down the first baseline, 1-1. Loperfido rests the bat on his left shoulder, now pops it up. 1-1 pitch on the way. Called strike, backdoor breaking ball, and the Blue Jays down to only 1 strike to play with here. It's a 1-2 count. Schneider on second. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Marlins up 3-1. Next pitch could be the last one of the 2024 season. The 1-2. Called strike 3, and this one is over. The Marlins beat the Blue Jays 3-1 to wrap up the 2024 season as Toronto musters 1 run against a strong day for Marlins pitching headed up by Ryan Weathers.
Yeah, obviously a difficult ending to a disappointing season if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. But like you said, Ryan Weathers, who was the 7th overall pick, he was really good today. He has a really good fastball, really good stuff, and it was a tough matchup for this Toronto Blue Jays team. But another thing is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. failed to get that 200th hit, and obviously the crowd was really hoping that he would come through today, but just not good enough against Ryan Weathers.
Another fun environment, though, as 30,000 plus came to Toronto for the final game of the season. We are going to step aside quickly, and then we'll wrap it up and get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stick around for just a few more minutes. Marlins win 3-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. and inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Eric Swanson strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays fall in Game 162, 3-1 to the Miami Marlins. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. For 161 games this year, we've come back. We've dissected a little bit of the game before we get over to Blue Jays talk with Blair and Barker, with Show Ali and many others. But for this one, Chris, just want to acknowledge the listeners that were along with us. We saw today and on Canada Day specifically, with people texting in, how big and how wide-ranging this fan base is, and it is really a pleasure to interact with everyone from all over the country, and just kind of underscores how unique the fan base and the following of this team really is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when you did the text line on Canada Day. Obviously, I really enjoyed it today, and I made a lot of jokes, but I really am appreciative of all the fans. I almost forget how many people listen to us, how many people enjoy Blue Jays baseball, not only listening to us, but Blue Jays baseball in general. Sometimes I feel like it's just you, Tom, and me in this booth, right? Or in the studio, and I forget just how powerful baseball is across the country, really across the world. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has listened, whether you listen to one pitch or whether you listen to 162 games. And again, I'm grateful for Ben Schulman, one of the best in the business.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Right back at you. And I'm putting you on the spot, so I'll go first. But if you have a sec to think about a highlight moment from the season, I'll mention mine to give you a sec if you want. I'll go with the 14-inning affair against the Pittsburgh Pirates, where the few still hanging around broke out into song spontaneously. The Blue Jays had a million chances in that game, and finally Davis Schneider comes up with a walk-off hit to win it, despite the fact it revealed to me that I had laryngitis and hit the bench for 2 days after 14 innings of work. That's a game that I'm not going to forget for a long time, for sure, and that was a ton of fun.
Well, that's a good one, but I think it's an easy one for me. You talked about it earlier when Addison Barger was up at bat, or I believe Joey Loperfido, but the back-to-back homers to win it in the ninth inning, that was, I think I said it right after. I saw Buck Martinez out in the hallway right after that happened, and I said that was the best game that I've ever broadcast. And he didn't agree with me because he's done a million games.
He's got some experience.
But I obviously have a shorter or a smaller sample size than he has. But I think the back-to-back home runs to win it by Addison Barger and Joey Loperfido.
Very nice. Well, it was a lot of fun interacting with all the listeners throughout the year. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. The Blue Jays drop it today 3-1, but all of the texts and everything along with it. It was a lot of fun to do one last game with you guys in the 2024 season. For the final time, for our technical directors, Luke Swadron and Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and stick around. We are not done with coverage this season. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
Thank you very much, Ben Schulman, and yes, to you and Chris LaRue, a job well done over a long, sometimes difficult season for the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays beaten 3-1 by the Miami Marlins in the final game of the 2024 season. They've been swept by the Marlins. They did not lead at any point in this series. Kevin Barker and Jeff Blair with Blue Jays Talk. The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-866-0590, 590 is the text line. Obviously, I would presume anyhow, you've got a lot to say, a lot of thoughts in your mind. Clearly, it is time to start looking ahead to 2025. We expect some sort of media availability from Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro at some point this week. One would imagine that they would be done on separate days. We have no schedule as of yet, but this is sort of pro forma once the season is over. The general manager does the media availability, and then the team president does his media availability. And of course, we've talked about this all year. There's some big issues facing this team. Start with the front office. It appears as if everybody's going to be back. We know Mark Shapiro has just 1 year left in his contract. Does he get an extension? And of course, when you move beyond the front office situation, the focal point, and I think Buck Martinez was very clear about this today, and he said it all along, and we've all said it, the focal point, the only thing, quite frankly, the fans in this city want to know now is, will the Blue Jays sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a long-term contract? At some point, obviously, there will be personnel moves made. Beyond that, you would have to think this organization will want to get a couple of hitters in here. Clearly, the bullpen is just nowhere near Major League standard. It hasn't been anywhere near Major League standard for about 3 months right now. Kevin, I'll bring you in before we go to the phone lines. Look, 74-88, the worst record since 2019. Vladdy doesn't get his 200th hit, stuck in 199. But, Kevin, I keep looking at this. 85 wins is going to make the postseason this year in the American League. At one point this year, June 16th, the Jays were 35-37. They were 2 games under 500. I still think as much as the lineup and everything, had issues with all the issues this team had, I still think there's a little bit of sense of opportunity lost here in 2024.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I think you had one of those special years from the sort of the core of your organization and nothing to surround it with. And I'm with you, right? It's sort of demoralizing when you did have the lead, you turned it over to, quite frankly, guys that probably maybe shouldn't have been in the big leagues when it come to your bullpen. And you could see the frustration sort of starting to build from a coaching staff of just trying to figure out who they're going to go to and just to try and make a decent little run. You mentioned what the record was on a certain date. And, when Jimmy got hurt and went on the IL the 17th, they went on a 7-game losing streak. And basically after that 7-game losing streak, their season was over. And, you mentioned, the two people that need to talk and sort of set the tone of how the organization is going to go forward in the offseason. I would think that's going to be one of the first questions, other than are you going to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to whatever number that number is going to be, is, why did you not do anything or try at least to go out and get something that's better than what you already had? So, yeah, I'm with you, right? It's just, we sort of rinse and repeat, right? You mentioned getting swept, not having the lead against the Marlins. I asked you and Dan Shulman a couple of days ago about, does it matter if they have 75 wins? I mean, at the end of the day, a losing season is a losing season, I think, until you get swept. And that's the way you don't get your 75th win against one of the worst teams in baseball. So, yeah, I mean, to say there's heavy lifting to do is the understatement of the year. I don't even know where you start. Obviously, it's with Vladdy, but then, what's the first thing that they need to try and do? Is the offense, it's the bullpen. I think they need a closer, a ninth-inning guy, and then you can fill in the blanks with whoever you want to fill in the blanks with. But, yeah, it's a process. They love to say all the time, Jeff, you know this better than anybody, and I just wonder how the process is going to go. What's first on the list? And I'm intrigued to see what the first name is on that list. And, I'm assuming only time will tell. But it is, again, this is one of those seasons where you just mentioned it. Teams getting in with 85 wins. I mean, if you'd have done a few more things to your pen, maybe you're playing meaningful games down the stretch. That's what the most important part of all of this is, right? And you didn't. I mean, from basically June 17th, you've been out of this thing. With a team with this kind of payroll, I'm just not sure there's any excuse for it. And I think that's something they got to look in the mirror and figure out and adjust. And, those internal projections, I think, will be the battle, Jeff. And we've talked about this forever. It is how they look at their lineup, and the 26 guys that they have on that roster is nowhere near the way me and you or anybody else does. So that, for me, I'm sure will be the one thing that everybody's in a room, including the coaching staff, is everybody's going to have their opinion. And what are they going to come away from those internal projections, and how will it look sooner than later? That's the most intriguing part out of all this.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. There is there's some repair work that needs to be done with this fan base. It's not a happy fan base. What was the crowd today? 31,000 and change. It's not a happy fan base. I think there's still a residual effect from the way last season ended, from those dueling news conferences last season. But yeah, it's the last 3 regular seasons have been steps backwards. They've won fewer games and haven't made any. They didn't get to the playoffs this year, but the last 2 years they really didn't make any impact in the playoffs either. So, yeah, by any stretch of the imagination, this has not been a good 3 years. Not on the field, anyhow. It has not been a good 3 years for this organization. They've wasted an awful lot of capital. They've wasted an awful lot of resources. And, man, it just, it seems... It seems that we're back at square. I mean, we're always at square one. This has been a whole year of being at square one with this particular team. Shlomo and Scarborough, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
My guys. Sorry
how you doing, man?
This way. But I wanted to thank you guys. I won some tickets. You guys have great seats. Anybody listening, enter the trivia. These guys give great seats down in the 100s. Great view. Very grateful for those. Also, I think this season ended the way it had to end. We're playing weak teams with Boston and with the Marlins, and they could have went on a run here playing against these teams. And I think it was good that they ended the way they ended, because it's not going to give anybody false sense of hope. Yes. Schneider had a couple days where he was hot, and people thought, he's turning it around, and then he turned back to a pumpkin. Just the glaring needs couldn't have been more glaring in these last few series, which I think is a blessing. The fact that we have the 5th best odds to win the draft, I think that's a blessing too. Also, just seeing how bad the attendance was, apart from the hot dog days and the last day too. I think this has got to put some fire on Rodgers to make some big changes. We're looking at a front office that in their last 1,001 games, I think, is under 500
by one game. Yep.
They have, it's not acceptable. Not in a world-class city like Toronto. Not in a market where we're spending, one of the in the top 10 payroll, over $200 million, playing against the Marlins team that has everyone making league minimum and has the smallest payroll. It's just, I think it's a really good way for the season to end for the fans. And I say that because we need changes, and this lights the fire. Had we gone on a run, we wouldn't be able to. They could have used their politician talks to try to flip it on us. The only positive they can run away with now is Vladdy, and they got to sign him. And if they don't sign him, that's the biggest failure since we gave away Vince Carter. And I guess Bowden France is 2 big positives to look at from this season, but I don't know if those are enough to save enough jobs here. Question that I had for you guys was so do you think any of these, if you're telling all these guys on the bubble to go and work on something, go home, the way we've seen Shohei Ohtani come back this year and become a prolific base stealer, any of these guys that are on the bubble have any potential to add a tool to their arsenal that can really solidify them as major leaguers?
I'll pass it over. Yeah, I'll pass that over to Kevin Shlomo. Thank you, and thanks for your contributions all year.
Absolutely, that's a very educated call. That's why we love everybody that calls in and leaves us calls on our show, Jeff. The educated callers and the educated baseball fans in this city are second to none. Look, I don't know who Shlomo's talking about. It's who's on the bubble. I mean, for me, everybody's open to being traded. Like, if you didn't bring any of these guys back because you traded them for better, I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's where they're at as an organization. But if you want me to point to certain names, I mean, Loperfido, I think, would be the obvious one, right? With the tools he's got, the power he's got, the speed he's got, the way he plays defense, he can play center field, which is a big deal. It's just offensively, mechanically, it's eye-popping what he needs to work on. It's direction, right? I mean, you can't be out and around everything, right? And until he does that, I think that is, for me anyway, an easy way or an easy reminder for the organization to go, well, if you can't do this consistently, how can we put you in the big league? So if Shlomo wanted me to pick one guy, I think it's Loperfido. I think all the other guys, I mean, Barger, look, he's got a cannon for an arm. Have we seen enough that would consistently, warrant him being a part of going forward and getting off to a hot start? Not for me. I mean, everybody talks about Horowitz and Wagner. I mean, basically them two dudes to play the same guy. I mean, can you have the two same kind of guys on your team? If Horowitz is on your team, I mean, he's DHing and playing first. Like, how do you do that? How do you sell that to a fan base and more importantly to the 26 guys on your team? So, I mean, that's a interesting question. I just don't know if it, again, would warrant, again, they're going to do this obviously because they traded for some of these guys, and for whatever reason, they are absolutely, everybody I've talked to says they are in love with Wagner. I mean, I thought they didn't make up their mind late in seasons about certain guys. The dude's got 80 at-bats, and, it sounds like he's got a chance of winning the second base job. So, look, I think it is what it is, right? I mean, you can fill in the blanks with certain guys as long as you go out and get two thumpers, not one. They need a top 25 total base guy to hit cleanup. I've been saying this for the last 3 years. Where's your cleanup hitter? And they paid for it the last 3 years. You mentioned the record. They're going backwards because they don't have dudes who know how to drive in runs. Why do you think they have so many hitting coaches? Like, they're trying to force guys to learn how to run produce at the big league level. I tried that. It doesn't work. And pitching's never been better. You need guys that are established, and you have to pay for that. Predictability costs money.
Yeah.
So for me, they need two dudes. They don't need one dude. I mean, again, it's never been so much more, Jeff, in my mind, right in front of them as it is right now. You know what you need. You need a closer. You need two thumpers. You get those three things, and then you can fill in the blanks with these dudes, however many dudes you want to fill in the blank with.
Yeah, and Shlomo's point, I think, is well made. Let's be clear. This team was more interesting to watch once it started bringing all these guys up, but it wasn't a better team. You got swept by the Miami Marlins. That's not good. Now, yes, you weren't playing for anything. Neither were the Marlins. In point of fact, they came in here and kicked your ass after, landing at 5 a.m. And by the way, their manager went home after the first game, and he's not going to be managing the team next year. So, yeah, it was fun for a while, but at the end of the day, I think you're looking at maybe, fifth worst team in baseball?
I mean, I'd do a little digging into that, but
Angels?
I'm sure you're not far.
Oakland, maybe. Chicago, obviously. The Marlins. I mean, they're, 5th, 6th, 7th. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, you weren't good enough to beat the Miami Marlins. And this only just kind of, I think, adds to the idea that, most of the players you saw in the last 6 weeks are at best bench guys. And some of them don't even make a good team. They're bench guys on an okay team. Some of them don't make an okay team.
And
the other thing to what Shlomo said, I'll say the two guys, now I'm going to say this, they're not going to be here next year. But one player who has helped his cause more than anybody else in the last 6 weeks is Leo Jimenez. Either someone's going to trade for him or he's going to be a AAA next year, and he could potentially, depending on what happens to Bo, end up being the shortstop of the future for this team, although Arjun Namel is going to come along at some point and challenge that. And, and I think Jonathan Clase, just because of the skill set. I think those two guys will be in the AAA next year, and they will be part of your next window, your long-term future. But other than that, I'm with you. I just see a bunch of dudes. Like, I see a bunch of guys. If they're back, they can't all be back. If they're all back, then I think the Jays have had a horrible offseason. If one or two of them are back, that's fine. If one of them starts, if Will Wagner starts, I'm okay with that. But don't try to run out Will Wagner, Spencer Horwitz, and Joey Loperfido in my opening day lineup next year. Just don't.
Yeah, you're the 5th worst team in your division, and you earned it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Matthew and Hamilton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing well.
Yeah,
Could be better,
good.
but I mean, we're doing well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, first and foremost, thank God it's over. It's been a long season. But I wanted to pick your brains on something here, and this kind of hit me not too long ago. And I kind of tried to think about like the situation is more of like a glass half full. And what I mean by that is, and even listening to you guys for the last, however knows how long, but I've been getting this feeling that maybe we've been a little bit too harsh on management here. And now I know before any of the callers want to start jumping on me, and even you guys, I know you have your own opinions on this, but I want to think about it from this perspective. Like, I never thought that, Atkins and Shapiro ever thought that this team's primary goal was to win the AL East. I always thought it was get into the playoffs by any means necessary. Once we do that, everything else is just, the cherry on top. And if they say, oh, well, we want to win the AL East, that's our primary goal, even a World Series, I think that's just a little bit of fan service. And knowing, hey, you got to do your job, right? But I always thought of it, and if we look at the team from 2021, which unfortunately missed out, we look at the year after, and then even into last season, right? We got into the playoffs. We were sitting each of those years. We were about 20 games over 500, give or take. So looking at the moves that they did over those 3 years, that we were, let's say, arguably getting in. I'm gonna put 2021 in that conversation because that team was just spectacular to watch. We missed out barely, but moving the pieces around just ever so slightly because those group of guys were getting it done and doing exactly what they set out to do. And then I looked at this year and we came up another season where, the playoffs didn't go, the way we wanted to, but the fact we still made it in last year, this group can still do it. And then they only tweak things, right? So from a confidence perspective, I have the confidence in this team to go out and do something, because now that the situation's changed where these guys just didn't get it done. And, now we're 14 games under 500 finishing off the season. From a fan's perspective and from that perspective, I'm seeing this as, I believe this team is going to do something significant. But where my confidence lacks
now, based on what, though? You have to tell me based on what. The only confidence I have is that they've got a big payroll. I got confidence in ownership. I've got confidence in ownership. I've got confidence in ownership. I'm not. Well, unfortunately, it's not ownership that makes moves, though.
I understand, but I think the team's good. I think they're going to make the moves. They're not going to keep the roster as is. But where I don't have confidence is whether it's the guys that we've been talking about, whether it's the guys that we said, hey, these two thumpers are going to fit into our lineup. These guys, these relievers, these starting pitchers, whomever that we've named, and even the fans have named. Right. I don't think that they're going to get all of those guys that they've set out for, if anything. Right. So I do believe a change is coming. That's where my confidence kind of wavers a little bit, if that makes any sense.
Kind of. I appreciate the call. Look, keep in mind that any names that have been floated out there are just that. They're names that have been floated out. I mean, anybody can look at the free agent list or look at other teams and put two and two together and come up with players that would fit for the Blue Jays, et cetera, et cetera. But, listen, I've said it all along. The confidence I have here is in ownership, because ownership's ponied up. It's basically given the city a new ballpark. There was no drama. Nobody held a gun to anybody's head. Nobody went out and asked to have your taxes increased or anything to build the ballpark here. They went out and refurbished this thing, probably added another 10 to 15 years onto the life of this thing. Ownership did that. They ponied up for that minor league development complex, the spaceship down in Dunedin. They did that. And they gave, Mark and Ross the type of payroll. As I said, J.P. Ricciardi would have crawled nude across broken glass to get that payroll when he was here. I've got faith that ownership will step up. Ownership has stepped up. I just, I don't know about the people making the decisions because team's gotten worse in the last 3 years. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think they have options. That's the difference this offseason is you can pick more than 2 or 3 names that they have to choose from. Like that's the thing, right? And you mentioned the payroll that they could have going into the offseason. Even if it went down and you gave Vladdy whatever you had to give Vladdy to keep Vladdy here and make him happy, you still got a little money to go out and get you a top 25 total base guy because there's options. That's the difference, right? Is they got more names to choose from. And going into the offseason, again, I said that projections thing, the internal projections things, because that's the thing. Like, it's just, what do they feel like what they already have can take a step forward and live up to the back of the baseball card, right? What do they feel like George Springer can do next year, Jeff?
Yep. John Schneider was asked to give a summary of the season.
I mean, not the way we wanted to, obviously, in terms of wins, losses, certain things offensively on the mound. I think just looking at bright spots overall in the second half, whether it's Vlad or Bowden or some of the young kids, want to focus on that, but you want to definitely, you bring to light kind of the way we finished, and that's not what we wanted to do. Learning experience for the young guys, and get to work.
Yeah, that is John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays. Let's go to Adam in Thornhill. Yeah, okay, we won't go to Adam in Thornhill. 416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590. The Blue Jays season is over. They have lost 3-1 to the Miami Marlins. They were swept by the Marlins. They did not hold the lead at any point in this series. This is the 5th time this season that the Blue Jays were swept. And as we mentioned, Vladdy Jr., despite hitting leadoff, allegedly or supposedly to get an extra at bat, wasn't able to come up with his 200th hit. And Kevin, a couple of at bats. I mean, he was looking. Clearly, he was looking for his 200th hit, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, should I say and be rude that it looks sort of like the first 2 months of the season for Vladdy, right? When you're out there and you have expectations of we're putting.
I knew you
in
were going there.
We expect you to get a hit.
Yeah.
You saw how the advance looked.
You made the point, that, I mean, this has been great, but there weren't a lot of expectations on Vladdy. The team had punted sometime in June. And Vladdy was putting this together in a team that wasn't really playing for anything. And, today there was something on the line. And, the Miami Marlins kept them in check. Wes in Greenbank, Ontario.
Hello.
Hey, Wes.
How's she going, buds?
She's going okay. Probably not as good as you're going from the sounds of things, but...
No, you know what? We got to try to stay optimistic, and I think that might be word of the day, is optimistic. Okay. Because, for the first time since I got a Vlad rookie card, I went out and I purchased a Snyder rookie card, signed. And I think he has a lot of potential and a lot of upside with this team. But, you know what? It was a long season. And you got to remember, there was a few things, that were really cool about this season. With that game with the Boston Red Sox, where it was started one day and ended another day, that was pretty dang cool.
I would trade that for a playoff series.
No doubt. If we needed a wild card spot or a wild card,
I'd trade that for a 500 record.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was a lot of optimistic. There was a lot of young stars come up in that last part of the season. But
who
again,
were the stars?
You start next year with those players. We got to go out
stars?
On the off season.
Wes. Who were the stars you saw out there the last month? Stars.
Well, I
you're
Lucas
talking about
guy.
Stars. Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. A lot of young prospects. Maybe we don't say stars. I do apologize. But there was a
he's
lot
not
of hope.
young, He's about as old as me.
Really?
He's what is he, 27, 28, Kevin? Something like that.
Who?
Yeah, but still,
Lucas.
In baseball, that's fairly young.
30.
Oh, he's 30.
Oh, never mind. Well, you know what? I thought there was a lot of hope, guys. And you know what? I just wanted to say
I'm playing with you. No, I'm playing with you, Wes. Listen. You're absolutely right to have hope because, as I said and as Kevin said, they were more interesting to watch. There's no doubt there was more going on once they got rid of Justin Turner and Kevin Kiermaier. And whether or not any of these guys end up turning into major leaguers with the Blue Jays, the one thing the Blue Jays have now that they haven't had for 4 years is they've got guys in the minors that other teams might be interested in. And if you look around baseball, it's remarkable every year how many important trades get made where, at the time the deal's made, you just kind of shrug and go, okay, that's a guy. Like I talk about Teoscar Hernandez. Anybody remember the Teoscar Hernandez deal? At that time, it was kind of, whatever. And look what Teoscar Hernandez turned into. Could Joey Loperfido do that? I don't know. But, Wes, you are right. At least you had different faces and different names. My concern is, though, as much as I enjoyed watching how they went about their business, they're just not good enough. They just got swept by the Miami Marlins. They just got swept by the Miami Marlins. That's not good.
They got swept by, why did we lose 2 games to the White Sox? There was a lot of times when we weren't good enough. And head office, Shapiro, Atkins, you need to do better. As that Joey Swoles guy says, you need to do better.
So I appreciate the call, Wes. Take care. Wes wanting a little optimism. And good, it's good to have some optimism. It's baseball. Opening day is not that far away. One thing, the Blue Jays will be in first place on opening day. So it's not that far away. It's true. They'll be tied for first place on opening. They may even have sole possession of first place on opening day. Who knows? 416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590. We've got a lot of calls to get to. Let's do one more call, then we'll take a break. Robin Port Hope, you are a season ticket holder. I am so glad you called us.
Yeah, and we even buy season tickets for spring training every year, and I coach Challenger baseball, and we drive in from Port Hope from the games and fight all that traffic. And I got to tell you, this has been the worst season, especially the finish, just awful. We went Friday night, and that was awful. They left a guy in there to walk the 7, 8, 9 hitters, and then the next 3 guys got hits off, and they still left him out there. It's like a complete disrespect for the fan base. Well, there they are, filling the stadium, staying right through the 9th inning today, and then the guy looks at a called third strike to end the game. It's like added insult to injury. And I think that I won't be happy as a Jays fan unless they do 4 things very fast. 1, fire Atkins. Shapiro can stay. He actually got a lot of money out of management, rebuilt the infrastructure, but his job is on the line, too, if he doesn't fire Atkins. But anyway, let's just say Shapiro stays as 1 more season or 2 seasons. But Atkins has to go within the first week of the offseason. Then they got to sign Guerrero, and then they got to make some free agent signings as soon as that window opens. And they got to put a decent field on the team, or a team on the field for next year. If they could do all those things, then I'll be enthusiastic. I'm one of the most optimistic guys you'll ever meet. But I'll tell you, I left the stadium Friday night. I was disgusted.
Yeah, Rob, I appreciate the call. I was here Friday night. That was flat out. That's one of the most embarrassing performances I've seen by a Blue Jays team. Again, the Marlins arriving in town at 5 a.m. They're the Marlins. Their manager's gone. Their manager their manager was essentially told halfway through the year he wasn't coming back. They put the boots to the Blue Jays. And, yeah, I get your point. I mean, the fans still came. Even today, 31,000 is not – 31,000 is not a sellout. 31,000 isn't the best you're going to get on the final game of a regular season. But you know what? The fans, by and large, came out. And part of the reason is they love baseball. Part of the reason is this is a really nice ballpark. When the roof is open, this is one of the nicest ballparks in baseball. But yeah, it's like anything else. You've got 3 groups of fans. You've got the people who, because of age or because they can't afford it or because of where they're located, they watch the games on TV, right? Especially across the country. 2, you've got fans who come to a few games. Maybe buy single game tickets or packages. 3, you got the season ticket holders, the hardcore. And my sense is, because I talk to a lot of the hardcore, Kevin, my sense is they're not happy. I know that shouldn't come as a newsflash, but the people who write the big checks, my sense from them is they're not happy, and that is it's a consumer product, and that's something that it's something I think everybody with this organization is well aware of. I just don't know if the people in this front office have an idea. I don't know if they can do enough to rekindle the lost feeling they have with the fans.
Yeah, I think if you get better talent in here, I think that would help, right? Optimism when it comes to the season and that it's going to look better. You have better players here. You have more established players here. You have one of the top 5 or 6 best hitters now in baseball on your team. You have something to build around. Hopefully you're, buying into that and want to, meet in the middle and sign something long-term with Vladdy. So, yeah, I could see a little optimism. Again, I get back to this. I don't think it's a hard fix. I think it's right in front of you. Like, already what's here and what it looks like when they're playing together. And it ain't good enough. Even with the guys they went out and got and what Vladdy's doing and the 3 guys that have made all those adjustments in the rotation, they still haven't won 75 games. What are they, 2-10 in their last 12 to end the season? It's right in front of you. I think what you need to do. It's just, how do you go out and do it and spend the money on the right people? I think that's the one thing you can keep what you got and sort of mix and match and sort of certain positions. If you like Will Wagner, fine. He can't hit second, and you can't have him and Horowitz on the right side of the infield. That's obvious. Those are little things like that. I think you can't overthink. You got to know you got to go out and fix it. Hopefully they see that and they can go out and do that.
So there is, there's a lot of other baseball played today. Obviously, the final game of the regular season, and son of a gun, it looks like we are going to get those double header games.
Yes,
between the Mets and the Braves tomorrow. The Mets won, and I'm just looking to see if there's any time set for these games yet. There we are. The Diamondbacks, the Arizona Diamondbacks, did win Sunday afternoon. And now basically they'll have to wait until the completion of the doubleheader Monday in Atlanta between the Mets and Braves. If the team split that doubleheader, the Diamondbacks season is over. If one team sweeps, that team and the Diamondbacks qualify for the postseason. So it's going to be crazy.
Chaos.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaos. We love chaos.
We do.
Let's take a break. The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. Back with more of your calls. We'll get some more reaction from the locker room as well. This is Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Beat the rush. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection today. Find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Hey, Jays fans, ready to hit a home run with your next roofing project? Step up to the plate with GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, the official roofing shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just like our Jays, GAF Timberline HDZ shingles deliver top performance with unmatched durability and protection. So, when it's time to cover your bases, choose the winning team. Visit your local Home Depot or shop online at homedepot.ca for all your roofing shingles and accessories. GAF, we protect what matters most.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Sportsnet, your ultimate hockey destination. With more matchups than anywhere else, including Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey and Hockey Night in Canada.
Wild action!
With in-depth analysis on Hockey Central, plus live stream games even on the go with the Sportsnet app. The puck drops October 8th. Dive into the action with Sportsnet. Here for hockey.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and watches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I mean, if you look at the structure here, you look at the building, you look at the commitment from the front office to win. You know, there's a lot of good in that locker room. You know, there's a lot of good players in that locker room, and it's a very capable locker room. And you know, I think, you know, for guys that have played us when we played our style of baseball and the brand that everyone likes to play in there, I think you see that that it's a very, you know, talented team that obviously the organization is you know, committed to winning.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin Gossman who said in one of the newspapers this weekend, enough about the talk about how talented we are.
Yeah, hard to hear stage, Jeff. That's where
I'll
they're at.
second that. Oh, they've been in the hard to hear stage since June. 3-1, the Miami Marlins beat the Toronto Blue Jays in the final game of the 2024 regular season. Kids are still running the bases out here after the game, and 31,000 in attendance today. So a reminder that for all the bad bullpen pitching and the sometimes 4A lineups that the Blue Jays have run out, still baseball, and it is not a bad way to spend an afternoon or an evening. Adam and Thornhill, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Thanks for taking my call. What a positive thought there, Jeff. I'm going to go right to the negative because that's just how I roll. So, as we all know, an average Major League Baseball player is about a 750 OPS.
Mm-hmm.
This entire Blue Jays team, all year long, other than Vladdy, other than Spencer Horwitz, other than the 20 games that we saw from Will Wagner, all under Isaiah Kiner-Falefa had a 758 OPS. Other than that, every single solitary player on this team had an under 700 OPS. So the question is it either A, the bad roster construction and bad drafting by the delicate geniuses? Is it B, poor development and coaching staff? Is it C, both? Because it can't be D, which is that we have really good players and really good development and then have results like this. It's just not possible.
I mean, I'm going to say it's A, but listen, you're absolutely right. We've talked about this. I mean, this organization has had a difficult time. I mean, let's face it. They're living off Vladdy and Bo. In Vladdy's case, you're living off of someone else's work because he was signed by Alex Anthopoulos. Bo, you did well. You drafted him, but you can't keep a pitcher healthy in the minor leagues. Never mind getting him to the major leagues. You can't keep a pitcher healthy in the minor leagues. And there's a lot of issues. And I didn't know this today, but this is what you get from looking at game notes from other teams. Do you know the Toronto Blue Jays lost the fewest games to injuries in baseball this year? And it's not even close. They lost 54 fewer games to injuries than the Tigers did, the second healthiest team in baseball. So, thinking about what George Springer said, I made this point last year. This is 2 years in a row where George Springer has been healthy, and he hasn't been good. There's clearly an issue here when it comes to identifying the type of talent that wins in this division. I mean, you can't look at it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. I think that's the big thing, right, is when you get rid of three dudes who could hit in the middle of your order and make your lineup longer, and you fill in the blanks with guys who don't live up to that talent-wise that you traded away, and you've been suffering for it ever since. And that's the thing, right? It's the you're putting too much emphasis on the guys that are already here. We know the names, and that, I think, is some of the things that John Snyder's been talking about, like, the looking at yourself in the mirror and trying to figure out, the expectations of the guys you got here. Maybe it's just a little unfair. I've been saying that for a couple of years now. That, I think, is the easy thing here. Predictability, right? Go out and see, does the dude hit a fastball? Can he hit a lefty? Can he hit home runs? Can he hit a fastball in the air to the pull side with slug? I mean, don't take khakis in a room to try and figure out all of that. Sometimes it's just right in front of you by looking at some little simple stats to get guys in here who know how to do it, and don't have to have 19 hitting coaches to tell them how to go up and have a game plan and not what to swing at. So, again, I said this, and I think you rolled your eyes at me or laughed at me a couple of times when I said, it's right in front of them. It's not a hard fix. They know what needs to be done. It's just the fact that can they go out and find the right person, pay the right people to come in here that are going to help one dude who stands at first every single day. That's the question.
And, I mean, no more Justin Turners or Kevin Kiermaiers. I try to get somebody who's a little younger than me in here to hit in the middle of the order. AJ in Brampton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hi there, guys. Love the show. Amazing.
Thanks, AJ.
One of the best in the industry.
Thank you.
I don't know where to start with this front office. I am beyond frustrated for the past 9 years. We have zero developed, grown players at the start of the season. The entire pitching staff was, guys that we got from free agency or the guys that we traded for. The outfield was 2 free agents and a horrible trade for Warshaw. I don't know where to start with these guys. We finally had some young players coming in, and they all were from the trades that we made during the season, right? Even in the bullpen, we have no pitching in the bullpen right now. We couldn't even develop a mid-innings reliever, someone who just comes in, gets you 3 to 4 outs in any game. We had to trade for those guys, right? And Bowden Francis, Trevor Richards, all of these guys, even long inning guys. I don't know what this front office has done in the 9 years, and I don't know where we're going to go in the future. I have no faith in this.
AJ, yeah, no, listen, I appreciate the call. I think you, frankly, have just spoken for about 90% of the fan base. I don't think fans have a lot of faith in this front office. I think the front office realizes that fans don't have faith in them. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to hear what is said when Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins do their media availability, because I don't think apologizing for the year is going to help. Ross has already more or less apologized for the year. I don't think coming out and saying we were upset is going to help. I'm not saying. I never believe that a front office has to, quote unquote, tell everybody what their plans are, because it doesn't work that way. Because your plans change depending on free agency. Your plans change depending on a lot of things. So I don't expect to hear them come out and say, well, we're going to go and sign Pete Alonso, and we're going to re-sign Vladdy, and then we're going to, sign Bo, and then we're going to go out and look and add this reliever. Or I don't expect to hear that from them this week. But I do need to hear, one, why you gave up on the team in June. And by the way, I would suggest that if you're at all interested, read Mark Topkin's article in the Tampa Bay Times and Yandy Diaz's comments about how we were a playoff team at the trade deadline and we traded ourselves into fourth place or third place, however he worded it. Read that and kind of take a look at what the Blue Jays did. So I need to hear that, and I do need to hear if you're interested in signing Vladdy, because from where I am right now, for whatever reason, I don't think Mark or Ross care if Vladdy signs here. I don't know why that is. I just don't. I've never sensed any urgency to get Vladdy signed. I never have. I've never spoken to anybody who said to me, that is our priority, is to get these guys locked up. I've never had anybody say that to me. So those are a couple of things I need. I at least need to get an idea that is on the front burner. I mean, you can't try to sell the fans on, well, we're going to change the coaching staff and improve our communication next year. You just can't do that. No more weasel words, no more word salad. The fans just don't have time for that. Ian in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Two things. With regards to management, when they came here, they had a decent reputation in Cleveland that they were putting together good teams, at least competitive teams. But I guess moving from the Central to the East has kind of, been something that they just haven't been able to adjust to and everything. So some of that is frustration because they put together good teams on shoestring budgets. The fact is, I thought they would come in, and now with a top 10 budget, they'd be able to figure it out better, and it just doesn't seem like they've been able to figure it out. With regards to Springer, though, do you think the Jays could find a way, find a partner to take him? But obviously, you're going to have to eat money. And do you think? I think he's got $24 million for the next 2 seasons, eating half the salary, but attaching 2 of these, fringe guys to another team. Because honestly, 2 things. One, if he stays the entire full 5th year, he'll become a 10-5 guy, which means he automatically gets a no trade clause. So then now you have to run every trade by him. And honestly, that contract just hasn't aged well at the end of the day. I mean, no one, when he came in, you didn't expect the bat to fall off a cliff after year 2, basically. And in year 4, it's basically non-existent.
Yeah. No, what you expected was the World Series title, and you would just go, well, you know what? Yeah, the contract sucks in the 5th year, but at least we had that World Series, or at least we had that playoff run. You're absolutely right. And thank you for the call. Do I think they can find a trade partner for George Springer? No. I'm okay with George Springer coming back and playing right field next year as long as I don't see him anywhere in the top 5 in the batting order. Yeah. I'm fine with that, Kevin. I don't know how you. I think
it gets
we're
back.
On the same page there.
Well, it gets back to that way I started the show, the internal projections. It's again, how would they project him going into next season, living up to the back of the baseball card, right? It's what fans see. It's what guys that watch baseball see. Always doesn't add up to what front offices see. And this is the thing, right? I'm with you. I'm okay with the defense. The team seems to like him. If you're into that clubhouse thing, he seems to be great at that. Like all the players seem to like him. It's just they can't have him leading off. Like the lineup 1 through 5 has to be better. It has to be more competitive. There has to be dudes that can hit the 3-run homer in the 8th inning against a dude who throws hard. Right now, George can't do that just because of the way you watch him play every single day. So Yeah, that'll be the intriguing part of it is, can they get that internal projection thing out of the way and just trust what they're seeing?
416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. It is Blue Jays Talk. Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. The final Blue Jays talk of the 2024 championship season. I promise I won't say that anymore. Adam in North York, you're on Blue Jays Talk. The final Blue Jays talk of the 2024 championship season. Go ahead.
Yes. So, two things. I have no trust in Mr. Shapiro. He's ruined two teams in his career, and he can't even pronounce his own last name properly.
Well, that's not okay. Hold it. That's not that. That's a cheap shot. I'm going to let you continue, but that's silly. I mean, you're better than that, Adam. That's silly.
Yeah, okay. But
and we want to start talking about how people spell or pronounce last names. That's beneath you. That's beneath the show. So
what
continue.
My last name is. I've lived my whole life with this. Okay. So, anyways, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. I blame Mr. Rogers. I don't, and I'm worried because now he owns all the teams in Toronto. And he had the obvious choice, and he didn't make it. And I don't know why he didn't make it. I've never figured it out. I don't like the new stadium. I may be the only one in the world. I had presumed that we're going to be at a new stadium in Downsview Park in about 5 years.
I don't see that happening. But
well, okay. But anyways, I don't get that he has the look for what he. I mean, it's not money because he obviously will spend the money. It's just a matter of picking the person who can do the job, and I don't think that guys from Cleveland who got hosed by Oakland in the back in the day are the people. I just think we need a whole new front office.
Yeah, I'm gonna say thanks for the call, Adam. I'm gonna say a couple of things about that. First of all, the whole Central Division, Eastern Division thing, I don't think that's a factor. I mean, you've got a more balanced schedule right now. This whole idea that there's a big difference between the East and the Central, I'm not buying it. Good baseball wins. What I will say about this, though, and I find this very puzzling about Mark Shapiro. And yes, I mean the Cleveland Guardians didn't win anything, didn't win a World Series when he was running the show. There was 1 year they probably should have won it, but they didn't win the World Series and he was running the show. He did refurbish that ballpark. He did the same thing that he did here. And I know people hate to hear this, but you know what? The refurbishing of this ballpark is more important to the long-term future of this franchise than whether or not Vladdy signs here. It just is, because this thing's going to be standing, when Vladdy's gone, however long he signs here. What I find puzzling, though, is if you look at those Cleveland teams, one of the things they did do is they signed their own players to multi-year contracts. Now, it didn't always work out, but at times it did. And they were more, did they go out and blow the doors off free agents? A couple of times they did. But what they really did was sign their own players to multi-year contracts. And this is what is really confusing to me, is that this is a front office that has no qualms about going out and signing free agent pitchers, and I'm okay with that. But other than giving Bo a contract to cover his arbitration years, they haven't done that. I mean, Randall Grichuk, for God's sake, was, I think, the only other guy that got a sizable contract out of this group. That makes no sense to me. That I've got to think is a philosophical thing on the part of Mark Shapiro. But yeah, that's other than that, I think it's pretty clear that ownership has a lot of faith in Mark Shapiro. I don't think they would have allowed him to run a payroll like this if they didn't have faith in him. I mentioned he figured out a way to get this ballpark fixed up, working for a publicly traded company. That's not always easy. You have to know your way around a corporate boardroom to get that done. But it's like anything else. Your best marketing Kevin, is the product on the field. Ultimately, that's what sells your team.
Well, the president said that, right, when he came out and said it's all about a winning product on the field. That's how you make fans happy and you get them to come and want to spend money. You know, the Vladdy thing, I think it's the number, and I don't think it's the organization's guy. Like, I think that's sort of the thing, right? For me, he should have been signed a couple of years ago. You would have signed him cheaper than what you're going to have to pay him now. That's the thing. And I've been in the camp, I've been saying this. I don't think they're going to sign him. Like, they may shock us and feel like they have to do it because of the ways the season ended and what they don't have at the minor league level. And the year that Vladdy had may force them into doing something that, quite frankly, we don't feel like they want to do. But, yeah, look, it is the American League East and who you have to deal with. And I'm with you, the balanced schedule, but you still do have to play the American League East a bunch of times. And what are they, like 20 and 31? 21 and 31 in the American League? It's just not good enough.
No,
it's not good enough.
But I got to say this, too. Don't forget, the team that won the American League East this year was 26 and 26 in the divisions.
Was it 21 and 31? Was it 21 and 31?
No, but the division stuff is silly. It just is. It's just silly. It's not as much of a factor as it used to be. It just isn't. The divisions are just sort of geographical niceties. They really don't have much of an impact, I don't think, anymore on where teams finish. You stick the Houston Astros in this division, they're going to be in first or second place. Stick Kansas City in this division, they're going to be maybe in second place. Stick Detroit in this division, maybe in second place.
Wow,
stick
you
Cleveland.
speak highly of those teams, man.
Well, yeah, because
Wow.
I don't think. Well, I mean, who in this division? Do you think the Boston Red Sox scare anybody? Do you think Do you think the Boston Red Sox would go to the Central and win the Central?
The Yankees could win the World Series, and the Orioles, if they get hot offensively, could do the exact same thing. Like, I think you're selling the East a little bit short. I'm getting your point to a little bit, but holy moly, like, there still are behemoths here, and the Red Sox overachieved.
One behemoth
offensively. Who's the behemoth?
The Yankees.
The Orioles not?
Well, they got to win first. They got to show me something first. I mean,
they're better than the Blue Jays. They're better than the Rays. They're better than the Red Sox.
But I mean, they haven't won. They haven't won anything. When's the last team to win the World Series in this supposedly hardest division in baseball? I think it's only the Boston Red Sox, isn't it? I think the Red Sox have won it twice in the supposedly the hardest division in baseball. And they don't win the World Series.
When you get in the playoffs, it's a little bit of luck, Jeff.
Justin in Mississauga, you're on Blue Jays talk.
Well, we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff and Kevin. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, the city doesn't sound the same in the summertime without you guys on the radio. I'm going to miss Jay's talk. Great season. Thank you guys so much for all you guys do.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to say that, I hear a lot of Jays fans that are mad right now. We haven't had a great season. But I'm optimistic about next year. I think the Jays will get a deal done with Vladdy. I think Bo Bichette, regardless if he signs here or he's here in the long term, he's coming up for free agency, so he's going to have to perform. So we're going to get some good at-bats out of Bo Bichette hopefully next year. The young guys are looking good. Baroa's got some speed, which is what we need. Maybe we can replace Springer on the bases with someone like Baroa. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you guys so much. I just want to hear what your take is on next year, and hopefully you guys are excited as I am. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Look,
Jeff, you're up. Jeff, you're up.
Why?
I'm excited about next year.
I know that I've got ownership that's going to spend money. Yeah, that's. Listen, I remember when the Belgian Brewers were running this team and they weren't going to spend money, and you couldn't get hot water in the 200 level. So I remember what it was like when things stunk around here. Ultimately, go ahead.
Well, the organization's identity is run prevention. Can they flip it in one off season and do something different? That's the thing you got to ask yourself. Like next year, if you bring two thumpers in here, it ain't so much about run prevention. The three dudes at the top of your rotation are older. You saw what they went through this year to get through the season competitively. Like, that's the thing you got to ask yourself. If Jordan Romano comes back, you really think they're going to go out and trade for a big-time closer? It's probably going to be Jordan Romano. What you getting from that? Like, You got to flip it on its end and be a different kind of organization. Talk about that with Yariel Rodriguez all the time. What's the identity with that dude? Now you're asking an entire organization to flip it on its end and have a different identity. Can you do that? Not going to be easy.
We'll find out. I know this, though. It's a lot easier to do it with $235 million than $135 million.
Well, they didn't do it this year.
Agreed. That's not ownership. That's not on ownership. That's on the front office. You know, I've said and I will continue to say that, Jays fans deserve better than they've seen this year, and ownership deserves better than it's seen this year because they're footing a pretty hefty payroll, and they're being repaid with a product that wasn't very good. And, yeah, it's I get the callers' points, and maybe I'm just guilty of thinking too much about the business end of things. But I really, as long as there's going to be money there, I've got to think that at some point somebody will make it work.
I believe you.
You believe.
I believe.
We have a couple of texts. Anonymous. Oh, that's my favorite. Oh, this is actually good. No, I like this. I like this because it's a good way to end the show. Kevin, what are the top 3 names on your thumper list? Okay, so not that the Jays are going to get all 3 of them, but if I said to you, all right, 1, 2, 3 guys you would take a run at here.
Yep.
Give
not
me 3
named
names.
Juan Soto. Not named Juan Soto because I don't.
Yeah, not named Juan Soto.
That ain't happening. Willie Adames, Anthony Santander, and Pete Alonso / Teoscar Hernandez. I'll give you 4 of them.
There you go.
That's what I said. The difference between this offseason and past offseasons, there's many choices. And if you have money to spend, it's picking the right one. Because you probably ain't going to get 2 of those, but you can get one that's a top 25 total base guy in the big leagues and add a Tyler O'Neill or a Brandon Lau if they don't pick up his option. Like, you can fill in the blank with a B-level guy if you go out and get an A-level guy out of the 4 names that I just mentioned there. Oakland ain't trading Rooker. Why would they do that? Going to minor league field? Why would you do that? Like, you want to have fun thumping. Rooker thumps. If I'm Oakland, why would I trade him? Who am I trading and getting into Oakland that'd be better than Rooker? So that's why I didn't add that name. But the first 4 names that I mentioned, you get one of those 4, add a B-level guy. There's your top 5 spots in the order.
Fill in the rest. Go get a closer. Go get a closer. Well, listen, that is it for us for 2024 in Blue Jays Talk. It is not it for us in terms of Blair and Barker. We'll be back tomorrow from 4 to 6 Eastern on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet. And then on Tuesday, we will shift to 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet 360, and of course Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet, and Sportsnet.ca.
Thanks for hanging out with us this season.
Location. Will be your source for all the Blue Jays news through the off season starting. We would imagine this week with the media availabilities of Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. Again, no information yet as to when those will be. But you'll find out about it first here and on Sportsnet.ca. So I want to thank all the folks who've made this possible. I want to thank my friend Mr. Barker. I want to thank all you listeners and callers. The people behind the scenes, Luke, Andrew, Tristan, Tom Young behind me, Andrew, the other Andrew. I want to thank Show. I want to thank the 2 Nicks. I want to thank Julia, everybody who's been involved in Blue Jays Talk throughout the year. The season ended earlier than we wanted it to, and it certainly didn't end it the way we wanted it to. But, hey, opening day, spring training, it's not that far away. And in the meantime, I guess we can say, go Leafs go, right? Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Cambridge and Stratford, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com.
This This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?